Pledge of Allegiance offered by our own Commissioner, Dr. Barry Hopper, United States Air Force veteran. But first, I'd like to recognize Commissioner Crawford for our invocation. And before I do, I asked her if it would be okay. Absent this evening is Commissioner Means. Her father passed away. And I asked her if it would be okay for me to mention that, and I'd like everybody to remember her. And said she's going through a tough thing. Commissioner Crawford.
Bow with me for prayer, please. Lord Jesus, as we come before your throne this evening, we certainly are carrying heavy hearts for Jessica's father that passed away, and for that family. I pray, God, your comfort would be upon them this hour during this loss. Go with us as we go through this meeting tonight. Clear our minds, give us clarity of thought, that we might make decisions that's best for our community and our county as a whole. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Face the flag, please. Proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When the board opens, please record your presence. Has every member recorded their presence? Madam Clerk.
19 present, 5 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have a quorum. Our first order is a resolution to consider amendments to the Sullivan County zoning plan sponsored by Commissioner Cowton, seconded by Commissioner Hayes. Is there discussion on the resolution before we open the board? Without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote, requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
19 yes, 5 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. After receiving the necessary majority of votes cast, the resolution is approved. The Sullivan County rezoning hearing is in session. Before I recognize Mr. Meade, let's allow Mr. Meade all of his information. We'll open the floor for discussion on each amendment. If anyone is here from the public on any of the amendments, we'll recognize them as well. Mr. Meade.
Thank you all. Case number 1 is a rezoning request from Wade and Donna Hughes for their property zone R1 to be rezoned to B4 at 143 Massengill Avenue right here in Lumble. There was no neighborhood opposition, and it comes to you with a positive recommendation from staff and also the Sullivan County Regional Planning Commission.
You've heard the explanation on amendment number 1. The floor is open for discussion. Does anyone seek recognition? Anyone seek recognition? Mr. Meade, is anyone here from the public wishes to address the amendment?
No, sir, it doesn't appear so.
Anyone seek recognition? Mr. Meade, do you have any final comments on the amendment?
No, sir.
Without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on amendment number 1, requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
19 yes, 5 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, amendment number 1 is approved. Recognize Mr. Meade on amendment number 2.
Thank you. Case number 2 is a rezoning request from RDZ Enterprises for their property currently zoned R1 to be rezoned A1 at 466 Valley Drive in Bluntville. This did have some neighborhood opposition. The concern was that there could be a trailer park go in here. This is not the appropriate rezoning for a trailer park, so that is not a possibility. And then it comes to you with a positive recommendation from both staff and the Sullivan County Regional Planning Commission.
You've heard the explanation on amendment number 2. The floor is open for discussion. Does anyone seek recognition? Is there anyone here from the public wishes to address the commission on amendment number 2? Sir, if you will, introduce yourself and give us your address. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
My name's Joseph A. Johnson, 440 Valley Drive, and I just come and I thought it was going to be a trailer court, so I apologize. I wouldn't have brought the case up, and I just didn't misunderstood. So if the guy wants to have that single wide trailer, I'm all right for it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for being here, sir. Commissioner Eckert.
Thank you. Just kind of curious, everything around there is R1. If we rezone it A1, how's that not spot zone?
It's still residential
All right, but now A1 does allow
for a single wide.
for one
For
single.
one single wide mobile, not a trailer court.
All right, but doesn't it matter, depending on how large the property is, how many you can put on there?
No, sir. We don't do density zoning. It's still only one.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you're doing something like a planned unit development or like a multi-family building duplexes, something like that.
Yeah, just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition? Mr. Meade?
Anything else?
If there's no objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on amendment number 2, requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
19 yes, 5 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, amendment number 2 is adopted. Mr. Meade on amendment number 3.
Thank you. Case number 3 is a rezoning request from Donald Tittle for his property currently zoned R1 to be rezoned to A1 at 489 Summer Sound Road in Pine Flats. This one also did have opposition from the neighborhood. It was similar opposition, but they did not want a single wide being able to go in on this property. And then it comes to you with a positive recommendation from the staff and the planning commission.
You've heard the explanation on amendment number 3. The floor is open for discussion. Does anyone seek recognition? Commissioner King.
Thank you. What is the exact purpose? What is he going to do? I understood that his son is maybe wanting to grow some vegetables and maybe have a stand out there where he can sell these.
Yes, sir.
He can't sell it in R1, but he can in A1.
No, he
Is that
can't.
true?
That is incorrect. He can, we are a right to farm state. You can practice agricultural in any zoning.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else seek recognition? Is there anyone from the public wishes to address amendment number 3? See, I saw the gentleman in the back first. If you will. If you will, introduce yourself and give us your address, sir. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. My name is Michael Hughes. I'm at 841 Summer Sound Road, and I'm here to respectfully oppose the request to rezone 489 Summer Sound Road to R1 from A1. I want to be clear, I don't oppose that there be a residence at that address. My concern is the request of changing the zone and what that change is appropriate for this particular piece of property and this neighborhood. As stated in the last meeting, the primary reason for requesting the A1 zoning was allowed to have a single wide manufactured home on the property. The existing R1 zoning already allows single family residence. Therefore, the request zone change appears to be primarily because a single wide manufactured home is not permitted on the current R1 classification. That raises an important question that the committee needs to consider. What has changed about this property or the surrounding area that makes the existing R1 zoning inappropriate? The current Sullivan County zoning describes R1 as a distinct district intended for low-density suburban residents. A1, by contrast, is intended for resident development in a rural environment. 481 Summer Sound is not an isolated piece of rural acreage. It is a residence parcel in an established residential area. Changing this individual parcel from R1 to A1 simply to accommodate a use that is not permitted under R1 could create a zoning classification that is inconsistent with the surrounding properties and the establishing character of the area being a lake community. I respectfully ask the community to consider the precedent this would also establish. If a property is rezoned whenever an owner wants to use it that is not allowed under the existing zoning, then the purpose of having established zoning districts is weakened. The question should it be whether A1 zoning is appropriate for the property, not simply whether the applicant wants to use that A1 happens to permit. This is not a simple question of what the current owner intends to do today. Rezoning changes the property's permit uses for the future and potentially affects the surrounding property. In addition, this rezoning could compromise one of Boone Lake's unique and desirable areas, the Summer Sound Peninsula. Over the years, Summer Sound has transformed from a community of small fishing camps to highly sought-after lakefront community with significant investment in high-value homes. Maintaining this character and zoning consistency of this unique peninsula is important to preserve the quality, appeal, and property values of the community. So I respectfully request that the Planning Commission deny this rezoning and maintain the existing R1 zoning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for being here. I saw someone else raise their hand. Yes, sir. If you will, introduce yourself and give us your address, please, sir. Thank you for being here.
My name is Donald E. Tilley. I am the property owner, 489 Summer Sound Road. And the main reasons that I want to get this back to A1, for one, I have no grandchildren that has less than 2 children. So a single wide mobile home, as long as I can see ahead, will not be big enough to put on that property. And also, I had part of it perked because one of my grandsons wanted to build a house on it. And it didn't perk enough for him and his one daughter and one son because she is autistic. So she has to have an extra room just for herself. And you can go back in the record and see where I had it perked. Like said, my son wants to do something that he's been cleaning up, trying to get it mowed down, and make it look like something. And he said he would like to maybe raise some vegetables and sell them. At R1, you cannot do that. And I thank you all for your time, and I thank him for coming and voicing his mind. That's what the democracy is about. So I'd like to have your consideration. It was homesteaded by my family in 1702, and it was definitely A1 back then. And where he lives is probably a half a mile from where that subdivision he's in from my property line. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate y'all for me.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else wishes to? Yes, sir. Then I want to recognize Commissioner Lott. Welcome, sir. If you'll introduce yourself and give us your address. Thank you for being here.
My name is Robert Crawford. My address is 813 Summer Sound Road in Piney Flats. My question is, I stopped and asked a young lady who was standing outside their property by the sign, I said, what are you all gonna do? And her response was nothing about a trailer or anything. She said that they were thinking of raising animals. And I said, okay, are we talking about kennels for dogs, or what are we talking about, goats or what? And she was unclear about that. So my question is, if they change this, will that then allow animals to be raised in their kennels and, you know, I don't know, goats or sheep or horses or, you know, whatever? I don't mind them. I'm just curious if that's, since she didn't mention anything about trailer, if that's also part of the change, if they could start to add a bunch of animals out there. Which I don't mind the animals, because actually we've been there for about 20 years, and some time back there were about 3 horses on that property that used to travel up and down the street, and that was fine. You know, they dropped their little gifts on the road, but this is still just, you know, it's a one way in and one way out. So it's sort of like got a cul-de-sac at the end. And I was just wondering if there's going to be a bunch of animals there as opposed to just a trailer.
Mr. Mead, if you can address that. Thank you, sir.
So this might help have a bit of clarification. Again, we are a right to farm state. You can farm, you can practice agricultural, raise livestock in any zoning. It is not restricted. The only people that have the capacity to do that are the cities, where we are in the county. We have no jurisdiction over that. So livestock as it stands and agricultural practices as it stands could take place on the property.
Thanks, sir. Commissioner Locke.
When was this changed to residential from ag?
I don't know if it was ever zoned anything else. I would have to check our 88 zoning map for that.
Mr. Tittle said it was changed to R1. He said he'd like to get it back to A. So I'd like to know when that was changed.
I would have to check our GIS system on that.
And then, do you know if Summersound has any more? It's all residential, right?
Yeah, Summersound predominantly is residential. Let me go here. You check your zoning map. Looks like, is that Crussell Road that's right there? This section right here, this whole section right here is A1, and this is the property being requested to go to A1. And then you do have some pretty large R1 properties through there. So I will say this for the county, when we adopted zoning, we painted with a pretty wide brush. So this could have been an agricultural area that we designated as R1 back in the 80s.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you.
Commissioner King.
Mr. Reed, this area right there where we're talking about, there's farms there that raise cattle and all the way down that road. Is that not true?
I'm unaware of any farms that are down through there.
Well,
You would know better than I would. It is your area.
I can show you at least 2 farms that's probably 60 acres or bigger. And I'm thinking that one of them is pretty close to right across the street from where they're on these, this change. And then the other one is on the left-hand side that you come down Summersound Road. They raise cattle, they do farming there. And then the other one is Mr. Homer Stout, and he raises beef cattle, but his property, he comes in off of Crussell Drive, but it comes back to Summersound Road. And he runs cattle in between the 2 roads.
Well, that very well could be his property that's there on the left side then. That's zone A1.
So I guess what I'm saying is you've already got farms and people raising cattle there, and then if you go out there on the main road, Enterprise Road, you got farmland from one end to the other road. And then it goes all the way from the road to the lake. So, you know, it's not saying that there's not any farmland out there and people's not raising cattle in that area. People are raising cattle and other animals also. So, if you're going, you know, if you're going if they're wanting to raise animals, we've already got people raising animals. I don't see why we change, for them, change it, not change it for them. That's what I meant to say. So, I think that, there's already that going on, farming in that area, and these people want to farm and raise some vegetables. I think they have that right to do that.
And they do. They can do it as their property currently stands as well.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Iverson.
Look, you said it a couple of times, I just want to make sure that I'm right on this. So if we change this to A1 or leave it R1, he can still do all the farming he wants.
That is correct.
Nothing changes.
That is correct.
If we change this to A1 versus R1, what that does change is allow him to do a single wide trailer.
That is correct.
And only one?
Yes, sir.
Not
No,
one?
sir.
Okay, so this change is merely to say we're going to either allow a single wide trailer there or not allow a single wide trailer there, because he can do any kind of farming he wants to do as is.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Eckert, then Commissioner King.
Thank you. Yeah, but to follow up on that, I think, and the property owner just said though, that the land didn't perk out to be able to have a house or anything.
I have not seen the perk
I know,
test.
but he said
Yeah.
that, I mean, so that's why I feel like we can change it for the sake of changing, but it seems like everything they want to do, they can do, unless we've missed something.
No, sir, that is correct.
Okay.
If farming is their sole intention,
Yeah.
they can already do that on the property.
But even if they wanted to put a single wide or double or whatever, I mean, he said it didn't hurt to,
Mhm.
you still have to have land that hurts to be able to do that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, and on that note, septic can't cross over property lines via TDEC regulation, so it has to be contained on the property.
Yeah, okay.
Commissioner King.
Has Mr. Tittle been to your office, and is that where he got the information that he's talking about?
Yes, sir, he came in to fill out his application.
Why did he come if he didn't have to do anything to continue what he's doing now, then who told him that he needed to change from R1 to A1?
I am unsure of who told him that he needed to. I don't believe that I took his application personally.
Somebody in your office did, didn't he?
I can't speak to that, I'm not sure.
Well, he had it in his hand there. Somebody's done it.
We do get quite a few requests of people wanting to change from R1 to A1 on the basis of doing agricultural. I mean, that was Mr. Zimmerman's request as well. I think there's some confusion over whether you can or cannot farm. I think there's a lot of misinformation floating around about you can't farm in a residential zoning in the state of Tennessee.
I'd just like to know why all of a sudden he says, well, I'm gonna change from R1 to A1. Somebody had to tell him, or did it come from your office or somewhere else that, if he come to your office and wanted to request, then somebody should educate him, and you don't have to do anything if that's what you're wanting to do. So, that's my question is, why wasn't he given the right information for his, what he was wanting to do?
Yes, sir. I believe he was told when he came into our office that, again, we reiterate this multiple times a day, that if we are a right to farm state, you can have livestock and you can practice agriculture. It is also our job, and it is the applicant's right to apply. We have to take that application if they want to request a rezoning.
It'd just be strange to me if all of a sudden he pops up and something says, well, you need to change your land from R1 to A1. So, and then he comes to your office and you don't kind of straighten things out, telling him that, he's good with what he's got now.
Well, I can say personally, I've had this conversation twice today alone about agriculture, that you can farm residential zonings. It's made aware to all of our staff to reiterate that every time that we get a request like this. But if the applicant wants to move forward with it, then again, it's our job to intake that and bring it to you all.
Well, I think there's some lack of communication or something, that he didn't understand what he was trying to do. That's my only thing.
Thank you. Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Tittle, would you come back up to the mic a minute?
Yes, sir.
Your main concern through this is to have the opportunity to grow vegetables or put cattle or whatever on that property.
I probably won't put any cattle on it because you gotta get it fenced in.
Okay.
It might later years, but
So,
mostly what I want to do, he said, if I raise some vegetables, I can go out here, I can put a little building on the side and sell them to the neighbors.
so that's what your main concern is, that's what you wanna do, is you just wanna grow some vegetables on it and have the opportunity to sell those or get them or whatever you wanna do. So if we leave the zoning the way it is now, you're fine as long as you're gonna be able to grow the vegetables on it and do what you wanna do as far as that goes, because you've been made the comment that it was a perk. So if we leave the zoning as is, and you just wanna make sure that you're not gonna have any problems by doing the vegetables or gardening or whatever you wanna do there, is that correct?
There's one section that did not hurt. I hadn't checked the whole part. I just had one section, 600 and some feet square, and it would not hurt at that place. Now, maybe other places will not hurt, but I don't think there's gonna be anybody, building on it anytime soon.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mead, I'll give you the final, that clears the board, I'll give you the final word on it if you have anything to add.
Nothing to add, sir.
Any commissioner wish to seek recognition? Seeing none, without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on amendment number 3 requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
4 yes, 16 no, 4 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having failed to receive the necessary majority, amendment number 3 fails. Recognize Mr. Mead on amendment number 4.
Thank you. Case number 4 is a rezoning request from Melissa King for her property zone R1 to be rezoned to A1 at 4287 Highway 126. There was no community opposition, and it comes to you with a positive recommendation from both staff and the Sullivan County Regional Planning Commission. Her stated purpose is for a single lot on this one.
You've heard the explanation on amendment number 4. The floor is open for discussion. Anyone seek recognition? I'm going to ask the commissioners first. Anyone seek recognition? Commissioner Akers.
Luke, do we need to look at some of the zoning, because all these R1s to A1 just for a single wide, which a single wide what was 30 years ago is not the same as a single wide today. I mean, I've gone to Clayton Homes not long ago to see them made, and I think we've kind of got probably ought to look at the definition of what that needs to be from considered single wide or manufactured housing and all that, because you know, you won't put a lot of effort into these zoning maps, and we all have, and to keep flipping them back and forth. And housing has changed, and we need affordable housing. We're going to have hear a really good presentation for that here in a minute. But I mean, everything's being blasted as a single wide, and so I think we ought to, at some point, probably have that conversation about what can go there. So,
Yeah, I think within our office and our regional planning, Sullivan County's Planning Commission, especially after this round of this many R1s to A1s, we have the same discussion. It's something we're seeing a lot more, and housing is getting a lot more expensive. People are looking for alternative options, and zoning is the issue that they're running into on that end.
Anyone else seek recognition? Anyone? I'm getting there, sir. Anyone from the public wish to address the commission? I believe there is one. Welcome, sir. If you will introduce yourself and give us your address. Thank you for being here, sir.
Well, thank you. My name is George Tallman. My address is 4136 Highway 126. That is approximately, I'm going to guess, a fourth of a mile east of the property that we're discussing. And I would just like to say this, I feel like changing the zoning to a single wide trailer would be a step back. Myself and my neighbors object to it in that we feel like, as I say, a step back. My neighbor, next door neighbor is named Bill Wilmouth, and his address is 4160. He cannot be here tonight for health reasons, and he would like to go on record that he's also objects to that. I also have next door neighbor here, he can speak on his behalf if he wishes to, but he owns 2 properties across the street from me and beside me, and he objects as well. Again, there's some nice houses on the stretch there that I feel like would be devalued by allowing a single wide trailer to move in the area. And if, here's the thing, if we allow one single wide in, then what's to say somebody else wants to allow another one in? Pretty soon we've got a bunch of single wide trailers in the neighborhood. And the subject property of owner who is requesting this, I don't know how much property they have there, but there is considerable vacant property in that area, so it's possible they could be requesting another single wide next year, or whoever, I don't know. But again, so I'd just like to go on record that I do object.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for being here. Is there anyone else from the public wishes to speak to this amendment?
You covered me.
Yes, ma'am. If you will, introduce yourself, give us your address. Thank you for being here.
I'm Melissa King. I'm at 333 Snacks Ferry, but 4287 is my property. It is 6.5 acres. Nobody can see my property from the road at all, even if they can see it. There is already a trailer, one property over, and then there is another trailer the next property over, and there is a trailer park about maybe half a mile down the road. I mean, it's a main road. I don't think it devalues anything. And I mean, I think I should be able to put what I want to on my property. I'm not gonna pay like the rest of my life for a mortgage that's gonna be paid off when I die. That's just stupid.
If you wouldn't mind, would you care to restate your name and your address?
Melissa King, 333 Snacks Ferry.
You were in the middle of the aisle when you came, I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Commissioner Jones, you have a question for her, sir?
Yes.
Mrs. King,
Oh, yes.
if you'll come back. Commissioner Jones has a question for you. Thank you.
And part of this question goes back to Commissioner Akers' concern. There is a difference between a trailer and a modular home. Trailer has a registration.
I understand the
on
difference,
bills.
yes.
Are you asking, and it's just my curiosity, modular home or trailer?
I don't know which one yet. But, like I said, I'm gonna go with the cheapest option. I don't wanna pay a mortgage the rest of my life. I want something, honestly, I want something that's cheap that I can get paid off and I own everything. I already own the property. Nobody can even see what's on my property.
So currently, there's
nothing there right now,
there's
but
nothing
there
there,
used
so
to
this would
be,
be your residence.
20 years ago, there used to be a trailer there. There actually used to be 2 trailers there on that property.
Okay, so this will be your residence? Okay. And it already has the field bids are already present? Okay, thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Cole.
I guess I'll go ahead and support Ms. King and her endeavor. I will be for it, but Commissioner Akers does have a point, and we really need to review that and look over that. Thank you.
Commissioner Aker.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to case number 1 where I asked, because in insert A, maybe it's A3 or something, you can put, like she just said, she's got 6.5 acres. So I want to make sure we don't have unintended consequences. There's certain zoning, you can put so many homes per acre in agriculture.
You can do, you can have accessory homes for active commercial farms. You can have more single lots, but they would have to be an actual working farm to be able to do that. The only concern I would see is potentially subdivision of the property. Could probably be the easiest way, getting multiple single lots on what is now one property and can be divided out. I'm not sure how much road frontage they have, but.
But that would have to come back.
That would have to go through a planning process.
Yes, yeah. But right now, only, even though she's got 6.5 acres, you only have one home. I just want to make sure. Okay.
Anyone else seek recognition? Mr. Meade?
Nothing else to add, sir.
Without objection, when the board opens, please cast your vote on amendment number 4, requiring 13 votes for passage. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk.
20 yes, 4 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Having received the necessary majority of the votes cast, amendment number 4 is adopted. Mr. Meade, have anything else before you go?
No, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. That concludes the business of the Sullivan County rezoning hearing. Without objection, the rezoning hearing is closed and work session is in session. Our next order is presentations. First, Bluntville Athletic Park Director, P.J. Bayless. Welcome, sir.
All right, good evening. I'm honored to actually have the opportunity to speak to each of you. I've been on since June, technically June 1st. So a month and a half almost, kind of going at it real hard. But some of you I've met personally. I hope to meet all of you in the near future officially, but I appreciate the opportunity. Yes, this is my email address if any of you want to reach out. In the back of the admin building, not too hard to find. Most of the time I'm out at one of the fields, so my phone number there. The purpose of this, however, is to give you updates in person, right? Instead of word of mouth, instead of a piece of paper someone hands you and says that this is going on. I wanted you to hear it from me to say, hey, this is where we're at, this is what's going on. Just to give you, I feel like you all deserve that. So. All right, operational progress on May 9th. Most of you, some of you were there. During the opening day, it showcased the new facilities, served over 24 recreational baseball and softball teams, as well as 13 pickleball tournament teams. It lasted from 9 in the morning until I think it actually went to maybe 11 o'clock at night. So it was a good day. It was a huge success. More importantly, what it did was display what the future can hold for the Bluntville Athletic Park and facilities. Go back one. There we go. After the opening day, we did have the same recreational leagues that was asked to come and perform during opening day came back to do their end of season tournaments. It was a 5-day event. I was there till like 1 in the morning every night. All of that said, it was very successful. It was good to see kids out there on those fields playing, utilize them. They held up really well. And again, it was another opportunity to showcase the facilities. They spoke very highly of it. But it was also the official first reservation of the facility. In the end, we brought in $4,200 from the recreational tournament, and that will serve as a baseline for operational success. as we continue to move forward. July 1st, we went live with our scheduling software. We had some hiccups at the very front, but nothing kept us from going live from the mayor's intended July 1st deadline. So we went live immediately, had some reservations and requests. And it's actually very, very streamlined. It's very user-friendly. At the top there, it's hard to see, but that's kind of what the calendar, when you log in as a user or requester, that's what you'll see. Everything comes directly to me, right? So every time someone requests, they have an inquiry, even just simple questions, it'll come to me, and I always give them a proper response either way. All right, in addition to the scheduling software link that I've just shared with you, we've also created a Facebook page that's specific to the athletic park. Still kind of up and going, haven't posted a whole lot there, but it is created. We also created a website that will be direct linked to the county webpage. That middle picture there, which you can't see very well, however, that's what it will look like, that's what it does look like. And then concurrently, we're also addressing the need for recreational sports in Blumpville, in the Blumpville community. And we are assisting with creation, integration, and operational footprint for the newly established Blumpville Athletic Association. It will serve as the nonprofit recreational league locally. It will offer youth sports from ages 3 to 14. I think right now it's like 3 to 12, but eventually probably 3 to 14, various sports. But it's important for this community, it's good for this community, it's good for Sullivan County to gain another recreational organization for our youth. Going forward, I want to create implement a Blumpville Athletic Park and Facilities Committee. Reason being, that way it's situational operational awareness. There's nothing slipping through the cracks, and we're eliminating a single point of failure, which is myself currently. So this committee would discuss all aspects of the athletic park facilities to include the schedules, future projects, improvements, budget constraints, finances, and of course risk management. Upcoming reservations. Currently, we don't have. We have an event coming up next weekend, the King's Wrestling event. So that's coming up. But outside of that, the current reservations are just practices mostly. But anytime that there is an event that is actually coordinated, scheduled, approved, it will be on the calendar and it will be sent to the committee for everyone's awareness. Maintenance schedule, anytime that we've been getting a lot of rain, so anytime the fields or facilities need to be worked or something that can't be done during the duty day, it's going to take longer. I'll block it off the calendar so those can be reserved. All right, if you'll refer to, I gave you a couple of handouts. One is my an overview of my duty description. However, there's a general status update, a couple of pages there, and as we're going through that, what I'm going to do is just, I will talk through the pictures and they kind of correlate with that handout I gave you there. All right, the first one that we have is the new fields in the complex. It's holding up really well. There's some drainage concerns and over wetness concerns that I understand we've been getting a lot of rain. However, the grass more so than the dirt remains soppy a lot more than it should. So it's been addressed. I'm trying to pinpoint what exactly the problem is. And it could be a mixture of the rain mixed with the sprinkler schedule. So trying to work through all that, but they're holding up really well. No real concerns. Pickleball and the pavilion, no real concerns there. And I'm kind of jumping ahead, but we did have to replace the front gate. There was some concerns with users that some of our older users, the gate was too difficult to open. It was kind of a pinch point anyway. After reviewing it, it actually indeed was difficult to open. So we replaced kind of how the gate open and operates, so it's a lot better now. Next slide, please. All right, the old baseball and softball field, I did cut that in about a month ago. Kind of got all the dead stuff off, kind of cut back the infield. However, it's grown back up now since these pictures, but I'm waiting on some infill mix and some other things to get my final grade, my slope down to 24% on the infield. But I'll hope within the next month or two to be finished with the planned surface, the new base pegs and all of that. So that's ongoing. All right, and then pickleball pavilion, again, pickleball is taking off like crazy. A lot of interest there, no real issues, everything's maintained really well. All right, the big gym, other than it being just a mess and some lighting issues, I cleaned it up. That top picture is the most recent picture. I've cleaned it up pretty well. It kind of shines. Not like I'd like it, but it does shine pretty good. I've replaced all the lights. Just finished those yesterday. There are some concerns with updating the bathrooms, some electrical stuff. And then, of course, ADA compliance in the bathrooms. We'll have to build something down where they can get down the stairs. But outside of that, the gym is super close to being something very special for the community with a little bit more work. All right, the small gym is probably one of my favorite rooms over at the facility. It's beautiful. I like everything about it. I like the ceiling. It's got to go. If you haven't been in there, I suggest you come by and we'll take a trip down there and check it out. It's a neat little facility. However, it will take a little bit more work to get it fully functional. Currently, the bleachers on both sides are non-usable by the state fire marshal, and the reason is that there's no egress down to the floor. But once we kind of work through that, figure it out, I'll continue working on getting that gym back to life too, but that is a special little place. All right, the cafeteria, the old cafeteria, we're calling the multi-purpose room, I think on one of the drafts of phase 1 and 2. I think it was called the community center, perhaps. But either way, it's a big, actually really nice shape. Everything's fine there. With only upgrades I would recommend was some electrical stuff. Right now, to access the lights, you have to go into the panel, which for us or any or maintenance worker, that's fine. However, if someone requests that space, I don't like the thought of some random person going into our panels. But there is an approval out there, I think, for a grant for bathrooms. Should start pretty soon. I'm not going to speak too much on that because I don't know the intricate details. However, that will make a huge difference for this space because it's big enough. The library is used a couple times for some drama events. Honor Guard's coming to practice there soon. But it's a nice room. It really is. With some upgrades, it can be a really good event space. Right now, if there's an event or someone requests it, I physically have to be there with them to get them to and from a bathroom since they got to go down the hallway. So I'm not going to turn people loose and let them run through the building. All right, football field and track. Kind of is what it is. There's not many issues. We do have a group that uses it for football. They take really good care of the facilities. They help me mow the football field, which I appreciate. So there's no real functional issues there either. All right, year-to-date revenue from June from the recreational league tournament, we brought in $4,200. July to current meaning the ending of the billing cycle. I think that the system is set up to the 15th, so 2 more days will be $665. Most of that coming from football and then the big gym practices. Our projections from 15 August to the end of September. General reservations, what I've got in the system now, either approved or pending approval, will be 1455. I'm planning to host a 12 UDC Fast Pitch one-day tournament. The low-end projection of that's going to be $6,000 to $8,000 brought in. And then we're having a USA Pickleball Youth Clinic coming up also in September. $100 for event rental. What I don't know yet is how many registrations they're going to have. So not really a good projection, but a projection nonetheless. This one here, I want to spend a little bit of time on this because I want to we're kind of just thinking ahead, right? What can happen? The baseline, as I referenced earlier in the presentation, the recreational league tournament I know already will it brought in $4,200. So our baseline there is $3,000 to $5,000 range tournament, depending on how big it is, how many teams they have, how many days it goes on. A travel ball tournament, however, is different. I don't know how many of y'all are involved or know about travel, but you make a lot more there. And that's a low-end projection of $6,000 to $12,000, depending on if it's multiple day, multiple age divisions. If you have an 8U to a 12U, you have to spread that out to 1 to 5 days, and you're looking at a substantial amount of money. Skills camps for all sports, depending on registrations, could be upwards of $1,000. Recreational league play, again, $3,000 to $5,000 range, but that's, again, depending on how many registered players they have and their upfront costs and all that. Public events, fall festivals, music fairs, etc., $3,000 to $1,000 range, and generalized reservations for a practice or a one-time event is anywhere from $30 to $100. And part of the biggest reason I wanted to come in person is to give you this information, but also tell you that in order for us to get to that projection from the previous slide, I'm going to have some assistance, right? So despite my best efforts, the current structure and my pace just isn't sustainable as a one-man wrecking crew. There's been nights that I've been out here during that tournament I was here until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then trying to come back in during the day and doing all those things. It's just not sustainable for any human being. Facility supervision during games and tournaments would be the hourly and seasonal staff, and myself included too. But I just physically can't be here during the day during my assigned duties, and then also be here at all hours of the night supervising whatever's going on. Facility and maintenance responsibilities. Anyone that uses any facility that we are offering are required, and it's in the scheduling software. It's a note there that of what's expected of them. But general cleanup, raking, stuff like that. Anything more elaborate dragging, that's going to come from myself or eventual staff. Same thing with weekend and evening coverage. I would need assistance because I can't be here 24/7. And then event staffing, depending on if we're hosting or if it's a outside entity hosting, some of that would depend heavily on what the event is. So, but that's really all I got. But the biggest thing I wanted you to take away is that I want to start, however regularly that y'all want to look at my beautiful face, that I want to give you in-person updates instead of word of mouth or someone throwing it at you in an email or something like that. So I feel like you deserve that. That's the real intent. But I do appreciate the opportunity.
Open to questions from the board. Sure. Does anyone seek recognition? Mr. Vanover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say I've seen TJ work since he started. I'm an old coach, and I worked on a lot of baseball fields and a lot of football fields myself, so he knows what he's doing. We're in good hands, and we can't build something like this and put this much money into something and not maintain it. So this is an attempt to maintain what we got and make it better. The numbers he gave you there, I believe, are really on the low end because I've got grandkids that participate in all those sports. So I think this can be sustainable. I think it can be very good for the community. When the resolution comes before us, I hope you'll consider it and just look at it as an investment. So, but I can vouch for Mr. Bayless. He's done a fantastic job, and we need to not wear him out and burn him out before it even gets started. So just want to brag on him a little bit.
I appreciate that.
Commissioner Jones. Thank you, TJ.
Yes, sir.
We really haven't got to sit down and talk, but I grew up on these fields. Have seen what's happened. On the pickleball, is the use, because I get this question from some community people, is the use currently meeting the need or the facilities? Do you foresee additional courts being added to that in the future?
I appreciate it, sir. That's a good question, actually. Me personally, I would say yes. There's not a day that I go down there or by there that there's not someone using the facility. Now, whether it grows into another need for one or two, I don't know that. I would ask to give me a couple months to kind of see how these clinics and tournaments go. But my personal answer to you would be probably so, yes.
Right. That was a little league field when I grew up.
Yeah.
Do you have goals that if we wanted to do a soccer league, or do we currently have goals, soccer goals?
No, sir, we don't currently have the goals. However, if it was something that was like if Bluntville Athletic Association decided on top of baseball, softball, and t-ball that they wanted to try soccer and or flag football, it's relatively easy to do. I did it myself to build to regulation size, and probably by like depending on the ages, 3 to 6, 3 to 8, you can buy the relatively smaller goals, than inexpensive. But we could build regulation soccer goals much cheaper than we can go buy them.
Another question: do you have equipment now? Are we going to be having to purchase some mowers and?
No, sir. I have almost everything I need. The only thing I'm waiting on is a big drag, a big nail drag. But the maintenance department was great. They helped me manufacture one. We built one ourselves. But I'm still, only thing I'm waiting on is the big drag to come in. But everything else that I would need to sustain the fields in particular, I have.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Commissioner Hopper.
Thank you. Just, I'm impressed with what's been going on with this field, and your amount of effort and time and energy and personal expense that you put into this. The county has received a phenomenal gift in this. My concern is the continued maintenance and expense, the hiring or providing personnel to help you and so forth. You've got proposed budget of, look very reasonable, but present expenses and ongoing problems, not problems, but expenses with maintaining this facility. Is it going to require some additional funding from the county in order to sustain this in a manageable manner, or how are we going to do this? Because once you started this, you can't quit.
No, I appreciate the question. And to be honest, I think you would have to look at each facility independently, if that makes sense. The outside facilities, the new ones, would that require other things? No, I don't think so. I maintain it pretty well now. The old field, once I get it finalized within the next month, it'll look just like the two new playing surfaces, minus the grass. It's not going to be as green, but outside, no, I don't think so. Inside is a different story, and that's why I think that each different facility is probably a different conversation. Like the gyms that I spoke about, both the big gym and the small gym, there's things that'll have to be done there eventually in order for us to get a anything back on your investment, to be honest. But as far as outside facilities, no, I don't foresee the need for coming back and asking for really anything else to maintain it.
Commissioner Crossley.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, TJ. I personally think Michael Cole and I have come to some of your meetings. I think this is one of the better investments that we've made for the county. It's bringing people into our little local area, well, Kingsport and Bristol too. So I'm anxious to see it finished, and we'll support you any way we can. So I appreciate everything you do.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just speak on that real quick. It's I understand that the new fields and the new complex is one part, but the other facilities that we offer, if we can, and we will, not yet, eventually we will get to a place that is, all the facilities is something that the county can be proud of, and currently, unless I just missed it, and I didn't, it's the only thing like it of its kind in the county, which I think is something every one of you should be proud of bringing to fruition. Now it's on me to kind of get the people out there and get that return on that investment, and I will do that.
Commissioner Cole.
Mr. Chairman, would it be all right to go ahead and read the resolution, if it's all right with the members of the commission about what I'm asking for, or do we need to wait? Because they have questions for, since he's up here.
That wouldn't be out of the question. If anyone has any questions about the resolution, I would entertain that.
Would it be all right, members of the commission, if I go ahead and read the resolution?
Recognize Commissioner Cole.
All right, this resolution is to appropriate $100,000 for the operation, maintenance, staffing, and improvement of the Blumpville athletic facilities. So, as Mr. Bayless has talked about, he does need help. So, this, in section 1, we have appropriation for 1 full-time employee and 1 seasonal employee. Section 2 outlines accounting and revenues. And we know he will bring in money. At section 3, this is the subcommittee, the maintenance department, purchasing department, finance department. They're going to review the facility operations, staffing, revenues, and expenditures. So I know we didn't, it's in the past, we didn't ask for Bernie Webb Ballpark to be closed. But I do think that Mr. Bayless can do great things with the fields and bring people in. We constantly have people, whether they're walking the track, playing football, baseball, pickleball, in the gym. Since we as a commission have gone through this together, I am going to ask for waiver rules next week. But I would just appreciate your support.
Recognize Commissioner Van Hoven.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm not going to tell everybody here tonight that this is going to be totally self-sustaining. I don't know if it will be or not. But I think with all the opportunities that are there, once we get the big gym, the big cafeteria ready to rent out as an event space, that's going to help a lot. And I think it'll be pretty close to being self-sustaining. I think it'll be something that won't cost us a lot of money down the road. Once we get the seed money invested and get everything that TJ needs, I think it'll be pretty darn close to being self-sustaining. That's our goal anyway. But again, like I said earlier, this is an investment, and I'd rather see those kids have something to do on that ball field, and maybe they won't wind up across the street in the jail. So this is an investment for the kids in Blumpville. Give them something to do, give them an identity, give them a purpose, and hopefully it'll help mold them into better people and keep them on the right track and keep them from having to be across the street in the jail. So, good program. I'm very proud of it. I hope everyone will support it.
Commissioner Crawford.
Thank you, Chairman. TJ, is there any collaboration currently with Bristol and Kingsport as far as our facility being utilized by overflow by some of their events that's taking place?
So I have, thank you for the question. I actually reached out probably in July, I want to say, early July, to Kingsport, different places in Kingsport and Bristol to not so much offer our facilities for overflow. However, I did talk through what we had here available. So inadvertently gave them an opportunity to ask those questions if they wanted to ask. No, I did not offer that.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michael, you and Tony and Ms. Crosswhite, we've got a great opportunity here to put Blumpville on the map. Excuse me. And that young man up there so far is doing a magnificent job of what he's been handed over there. And future mayor made a point there, mentioned the word kids. And that's what this is all about, is to give those kids an opportunity to play ball and make positive input in their life. And I think I think we're on the right track to do that. And I'll be supporting Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Linder, and Ms. Crosswhite on this 100%. I hope the rest of you do. It's a good opportunity. And like Michael said, we didn't ask for Bernie Webb to go away. We just asked for an opportunity to make things better for those kids and give them a nice playing field and a nice facility to go to. We've had some meetings on Tuesday mornings at school, and every time that we're there, that pickleball court is humming, and kids out on ball fields too. So thank you. You've done a great job over there. You've got some great support here, and I urge everybody else to support Michael and Tony and Joyce on this. So I appreciate it.
And not to get too far off the resolution, but hopefully sometime next year we'll have something on a farmer's market. Hopefully it'll be a nice farmer's market to go in where the rock building was torn down. So, and you will need help for that, to manage that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner King.
I brought this subject up, and we discussed all this when we was talking about the hotel motel tax and what we could do with some of that money and stuff, and that's what I brought to, but I got schooled on. It's not, we don't need a farmer's market, we need a venue. That's what we need, that's what the correct words are, the venue. Not a farmer's market, venue. We could still have a farmer's market in the venue, but we need a venue. That's what I was schooled on.
Now, Commissioner Cole, when you said farmer's market, I cringed a little bit because I knew Dwight was sitting over here.
That's right. See, I got schooled on this.
Yes, you did. That was a darn shame.
I got educated now. But anyway, and you know, that's another way that we can get people to come into Blumville and spend money. It's not going, you know, help the commission, the, you know, county government have money, but what's it going to do with, you know, Mexican restaurant up there, all the other restaurants in Blumville? What's that going to do? These people going to come in, they're going to eat somewhere, and if you got some place for them to eat and spend money, that's going to help Blumville in this whole area. And we can bring them 50 miles out, can't we, Mayor?
If it's a multi-purpose event.
There you go. So that's where we're at. So multi-purpose, we can do a whole lot with it if we got it. So, but you know, it's going to take some money, but you got to spend money to make money. So it's I think it'll be good in the long run. So, and this one tie in, you know, just like the cafeteria, the old cafeteria, we can have all kinds of different events in it. And if we can tie it in with a venue, with all that'll bring that much more to Blumville, more maybe hopefully revenue to Blumville. Thank you.
Commissioner Crosswhite.
Thank you, Chairman. Since Commissioner King has been schooled, I want to bring the fact too, by opening up these fields, this is going to bring people down to downtown Blumville, to the Dairy Inn, all the little things that we've got going on down here. So it's going to work out for everybody. So I didn't need to be schooled. I already knew that. So thank you.
Mr. Bales, we really appreciate you being here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, redevelopment plan and tax increment financing amendment for the Willie Boone redevelopment district. Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Jerome Malinay with Ardent Development Group in Bristol, Tennessee.
Sir, before you begin, Commissioner Aker was wanting to say a few words. I think he was wanting to introduce you, sir.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Very, very excited to have Mr. Malinay here. Of course, Mr. Conklin's here also, Mr. Anderson, part of this. And I know I sent out an email to everybody except for Archie. It bounced back on me, Archie, and I apologize for that. Had all the information in it for everybody to see, and so, as we're, Mr. Malinay is a developer, and we've worked with him before, and very excited for this project in Bristol, Tennessee coming along. So now I'll let you speak, Jerome.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. What you're looking at is an aerial picture of the Zadie property. The Zadie property represents the largest contiguous tract of land in the city limits of Bristol, Tennessee. Additionally, this property was part of the Willie Boone redevelopment district established by Bristol Housing and adopted by resolution in September 2024 by the City Council of Bristol. There's great potential for this development. However, there's numerous challenges, namely topography and significant amount of rock that's located on this property. The ideal that we've got is to try to isolate as much of the areas that are undevelopable, which is probably about 35 acres, and utilize these areas for recreational areas, walking and hiking trails for the benefit of the community themselves. If you would switch to the next slide, you can see the layout a little bit better without the aerial on there. And I'm going to refer to the area to the right as phase 1, the area to the middle phase 2, and the area to the left as phase 3. And what we plan to construct is 445 homes in multiple areas with various price points, and utilize the undeveloped areas, as I said, for recreational areas for the residents within the development themselves. If you'll switch to the next slide, there you go. The three different areas. Area 1, which was to the right, you're looking at about 153 single-family dwellings, varying from about 1,300 square feet to 2,800 square feet, and a price range in the upper 200s up to just less than 400,000. In the center, you're looking at phase 2 area, about 157 units between 1,600 square feet and 4,100 square feet, ranging from the mid 300s up to 500,000. Then in phase 3, it's going to be a little bit of a mix of cottage homes and twin homes, basically duplexes. They'll range from 1,200 to 2,400 square feet, and a price range between 225,000 and 350,000. Truly, what this is bringing is anybody that walks on the property, you got a range from an area from 225,000 all the way up to $500,000. It brings something for everybody for the area. One of the things, if you'll go back to the aerial just real quick, one more back, there you go. What I want to emphasize is that the terrain of this property lends itself to where phase 1, or the area to the right, cannot see the area in the middle. The middle area cannot see the area to the right or to the left. The area in the middle cannot see the area to the left, nor the left can see the middle, if you can follow all that. And so it distinguishes each of these areas by themselves. They become unique developments within the development themselves, even though they're going to have shared recreational areas. Kind of give you a depiction of some of the houses looking at, if you'll go forward, right there, the next three, this side plus the next two would be a typical home in phase 1, if you'll advance one more. And then the next three, go ahead and advance. This would be a typical house in phase 2, that one, and one more. And then in phase 3 would be smaller cottage homes. One more, there you go, perfect. And that gives you kind of a depiction of what's going to be developed there. If you'll move forward one more slide, from an economic development standpoint, you're looking at a $170 million plus development. The tax assessor's office for Sullivan County has already reviewed this and determined an assessment of approximately $150 million. That estimated future real estate taxes for the area would be $1.3 million annually, and it would bring about $600,000 to the county, about $700,000 to the city. A couple other things to point out. Jeff Fleming, a retired city manager from the city of Kingsport, did a study in 2025 of what does a household spend on retail sales. Great article if you haven't seen it, and we're happy to share it with anybody that wants it. And basically the article determined it was $25,801 per household spent on retail sales. For a development this size, that's $11.5 million a year retail sales that this will generate. From a job standpoint, you're looking at approximately 600 to 750 direct jobs. That's on-site workers, framers, electricians, plumbers, etc. You're looking at approximately 700 to 800 indirect jobs, manufacturing, transportation, retail, building materials. And then you've got ongoing jobs, probably between 130 and 200 jobs for property management, maintenance, surrounding retail. The city economic development department shared some information, and there's over 2,000 jobs either in the process of people looking for them right now, the companies in the area looking for them, or expansions going on, or new companies coming in. So these people have to go somewhere. And I think this definitely fills a great void at different price levels. It's a major economic generator for the city, for the county, for the entire area in general. Something I'm very excited about myself. So having said that, certainly turn it back over your questions back to me.
Anyone seek recognition? Commissioner Locke.
Who's the builder on these homes?
I have not made a deal with anybody yet. I've got to get the whole thing put together before I do so. But what's kind of interesting in this particular instance, I already had 4 phone calls. One, a local builder that's got a great deal of interest and wants to sit down at the table. I've got a regional builder, and I have 2 national home builders. So I think I've got a pretty good choice to choose from when it comes time, which would be next spring.
Commissioner Jones.
If we go back to the first map that
Sorry, the aerial.
that showed the roads, maybe I missed it. Maybe back one.
Back one more, there you go.
Is that the school up in the upper right?
Upper right is Holston View Elementary School, yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just remembering.
Yeah, for a reference point, yes,
Now,
sir.
for the section on the left, I
Mhm.
see one ingress on the upper left corner, but is that yellow line on the bottom, is that a road now?
That's Paperville Road on the bottom,
Okay,
and not showing you access to it right now. The only significant item that I do not have, we've gone through rezoning of this, the water and sewer is available, fire and police is available, school's got plenty of room for the kids to come in here, I got calculations and all that. The only piece that I don't have back that still has to go back to planning commission is the final plat, and that'll be determined by the traffic study. And school went out, so school just came back in, so the traffic study starts probably early next month, and anticipated sometime in October. So that's the last piece of the puzzle.
so there's a nice.
So there could be some changes, in other words, based on the traffic study.
Thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner King and Commissioner Mallett.
Thank you. Is this property blighted?
Yes, the gap analysis we did, it doesn't do justice to look at a piece of paper with the aerial. That there have been certain people that have been on this property, and more than happy to take anybody out there. But if you travel the property, the reason why you see areas like between area 2 and 3, which you see a big significant gap there, and those are access to what I call walking and hiking trails. I mean, that's a small mountain. So, I mean, those become areas that you just cannot deal with. But despite that, the other areas do have rock. We did core drillings. The average core drilling, we like to have 20 feet clear for water and sewer. The average was probably between 5 and 10 feet. So we're going to have to challenge the rock. Steve Wilson, our engineer in Kingsport, he assisted us in that and determined that, calculating the amount that is blighted or the gap analysis in this.
Well, ever since I've been here and we've talked about TIFs, it was to develop blighted areas. That was the definition of doing a TIF, was take blighted areas and go in and make something good out of it. And that was my question. I mean, if this property is blighted, then what's the definition of why is it blighted? I guess that's my question. Why would it be classified?
Nobody would develop this property, otherwise. I mean, you couldn't use it for anything else. Nobody would go in there based on the cost. I mean, you're looking at, I mean, I hate to use this for an example, but it's kind of like city of Bristol, Virginia, blowing up a mountain to try to put something in. You couldn't do it. So that is the blight.
Right. But, and I guess where I'm coming from, you know, there's other developers in, you know, this area, and when seems like you help one, are you helping all the other developers in that area to do the same thing as what you're going to do?
Well, I look at it the other way around. I'm taking a piece of property that's 150 acres that's generating, the raw land's generating $1,000 a year on the tax rolls and putting 1.3 million a year on the tax rolls. So I kind of look at it the opposite way. It's not about me. You know, it could be any other developer standing here. I think that the property speaks for itself.
Okay, and you just talk about all the jobs it's going to create, and then you said, well, you've got some nationwide, you know, companies looking at it. If you go with a nationwide company, are they going to bring their own people in here, or can bring their own raw materials and all this stuff? Is what's happening already?
Most nationwide builders use local people.
The ones that you here now, they're not. They're bringing their own crews in and bringing their own materials.
There's some crews that are. I've dealt with them, so yes, sir. There are some, but no. The impact of what they use from a material and from a labor standpoint is generally mostly local.
Well, that's to me that's important. If you're going to use local labor, local resources here and buying them here, and dealing with local companies.
Yes, I agree.
You know. So, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Vandover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I spoke with your new city manager, Slagle, about this the other day, and he was excited about the project and didn't know if it had been finalized for sure or not yet, but it's a 75% TIF with a 25% holdback.
It's a 85% tip with a 15% holdback.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of work went into that. The gap analysis is about 12.3 million, and the TIF itself generates 9.3 of the 12.3. And the 15% holdback generates, bear with me just 1 minute, about 124,000 annually for the city and about 157,000 for the county. And basically that's to make sure and cover any maintenance effort for the schools, so there is no additional burden towards the city or the county.
That's what I wanted to point out. That's most developers are asking for 95%.
You know, there's a lot of different aspects to the TIF, so kind of backed into this with the thought of making sure that the maintenance effort's covered.
I think that was to your credit, so that makes it better.
Thank you.
Commissioner Crawford.
Thanks, Chairman. From the first turn of dirt with the shovel to the completion date, what are you anticipating?
Should be started middle to second or third quarter of next year. And then you're looking at, right now, probably a 6-year project from start to end.
Are you going to do phases of it, or?
Yeah, it's true, but as I said, I've got 4 different builders normally I'm calling them, they're calling me. So, you know, the thought there is possibly splitting it up with different ones in different areas. It could go quicker, you know, the economy could change, so it could slow down. Weather obviously has a gap, but I mean, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable saying 6 years at this point.
Anyone else seek recognition? Sir, we greatly appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
And if you will, stick around when we present the resolution, there may be other questions that may arise. Next order, clock cameras. Everyone here? Have a presentation.
That's okay, and then Alex Gutt, representative.
Okay, we have a presentation, and
Thank you all.
Hello, so I'm Captain Jeremiah Lane with the Sheriff's Office. Since we've instituted flock cameras at the Sheriff's Office, I just want to bring some stats and some information that we use them for. We recovered 12 stolen vehicles, used the flock cameras in 3 burglaries to develop a suspect, located 2 missing individuals. If you remember, not long ago, we had missing individuals on the Sheriff's Office Facebook page and on the news that we showed. We used our flock cameras to help locate those individuals. We also had 2 silver alerts in Sullivan County, which is our vulnerable population missing from the area. The flock cameras were instrumental in locating both of these individuals, individuals that could not return home. Without the flock cameras, who would have known when we would have located these individuals that left the area? We have used the flock cameras to locate a suspect on an arson. Also, we've used them on 2 thefts to recover and locate stolen items. And also, we had an incident that occurred with a child that, a sexual exploitation case that happened with a child. Just to give a little information on the case, there was no suspect at that time. Information on the vehicle, we used the information, was able to locate a suspect, identify a suspect, and made an arrest on that case. These flock cameras that we use, they have no live feed video on them. They have no audio detection. They do not have any facial recognition software. Like I said, we don't have the ability to go live with these the cameras that we've got. Our deputies, when they search the flock system, they're required to put in either a case number, a report number, or a docket number. So when we're looking for an individual through the flock cameras or through a vehicle, we also have in place with the flock cameras in our department, we have an audit that is conducted with the assistant administrator. The last audit was conducted on August the 5th. Those audits happen every 30 days within our agency. That's a little bit of the success that we've had with the cameras with the flock system. Locating stolen vehicles, a lot of property. Like I said, the silver alert folks, vulnerable people that's in our society that couldn't return home, we use those cameras. They were instrumental in locating these folks. This information, I mean, it's vital for law enforcement. It's been a huge tool that we've used within the Sheriff's Office for the last couple of years that we've had the flock cameras. Have Alex here from Flock to do a presentation for y'all.
Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, how are you all? I apologize about my phone if it goes off. My wife is 2 weeks from giving birth, so I told her that she would be the only one that could come through. Appreciate the time today. You can go to the next slide. So essentially, Flock started out in 2017 with the ambition of a homeowner who got their car stolen. Since then, we've grown to over 6,000 plus communities working with homeowners, law enforcement, and private business individuals. Where this 10% stat is a little old. We're about 19 to 18% of solving all crime in America today. Next slide, please. What does a flock camera do? It takes a photo of a vehicle, right? It is able to identify the vehicle make, the body type, right? It's a pickup or a car. The color, if it has a unique feature like a top rack, back rack, bumper sticker. The reason is we're not looking for ordinary citizens. Crimes with no license plates, stolen license plates, or temporary tags. We're not interested in your license plate. We're interested in the car that goes by. Next slide, please. The biggest thing everybody wants to know is around how the data is used. Sullivan County Sheriff's Office owns their data. They can control who accesses the data internally from their own users and can require or govern what other law enforcement agencies access their cameras. A great example is Nashville put out an RFP for license plate readers 4 years ago. Flock won that RFP. Due to politics, there's still not license plate readers in Nashville. It is very widely known that once they get license plate readers, if you do not work for Nashville Police Department, you will never access those cameras. Private customers, I told a story. I was at the sheriff's conference, and on Monday, and a gentleman next to me said, "Yeah, tough day to be a flock guy." I said, don't believe everything you read on the news. And he said, well, I read this morning that in Walmart, they can track you out of the store if you steal to your car and to your home. I told the gentleman, I said, sir, we don't even work with Walmart. Private institutions, private businesses, private homeowners have no access to law enforcement data. It is protected under CJIS guidelines and can never be accessed. People want to know or understand where is the data stored. All the data is stored on Amazon, AWS Government Cloud Service. The same data where all the government's data is, it's stored there. We do not store the data in our own cloud. We are essentially going to Amazon. So at 30 days, there is nothing that you can do. I've got kids of my own. It doesn't matter if they got kidnapped. On day 31, see you later. So the data is deleted at 30 days, and it can never be retrieved no matter what. Lastly I'll do two more things. One is LPRs basically are a deer camera. They take a photo of a point in time, and that is it. It will never do facial recognition. It will never do speed enforcement. It will never do traffic enforcement. It is not capable to do those things. License plate readers do not make a determination if someone is guilty or innocent, like red light cameras or speed cameras do. It is simply an investigative tip, no different than someone's grandma sitting on the front porch saying, hey, I saw this white truck coming down the holler, and I saw it on the news that you all were looking for. Next slide, please. So a few things that you can do, and actually it was released, more of it was released this morning. So you as an agency can determine what are appropriate reasons to search your cameras by other agencies, right? Say that, of course, I don't think this would be the case, but say that you didn't want another jurisdiction to be able to search for a stolen car in your jurisdiction. You have the right to do that. As far as audit logs, everything internally that an officer or a deputy does is logged down to the second. There is not a single thing that they can do without it being recorded and logged, okay? And something that Flock has done is in January they released something called audit assistance. Audit assistance is the ability to bubble up nefarious searches to the administrator. So I'll give you a phenomenal example. It is required that every single search is accompanied by a case number. So your first thought would be, well, an officer can fake a case number. They 100% can. And so when they go to run that tag again with a different case number, it's going to flag that to their administrator and say, you need to go look at this. Another thing that was just released this morning on top of that is if we as a system notice nefarious behavior that is happening too much that hasn't been checked by the administrator, we will lock that user out, and the only way to unlock them is for their administrator to unlock that user, okay? Lastly, you own your data. We can never search your data. We can never give your data up. The only way we can give your data to an individual would be through a search warrant or subpoena from a judge. That is the only way that that data can be seeked out. Next slide, please. So I want to talk about a few myths and facts. People think LPRs can track and show police everywhere they go. I would be willing to give my license plate on my rental car. And of course you can't do this because I'm not suspected of a crime. And the sheriff's office put that into Flock, and I would give somebody $10,000 if they could tell me that I'm standing in front of you today. All we know is that it is a point in time that a car went by this camera. We do not track the entire being. So the next point of that is the LPRs violate the Fourth Amendment. It has been affirmed through over 40 courts across the United States, all the way up to a federal judge, that license plate readers do not violate your Fourth Amendment right. That is simply a photo of a moment in time and does not track the entire being of a person. And that federal judge ruled that as recently as this past Christmas. Next slide, please. So Flock sells customer data, compiling it all into a national database. The unprofessional answer that I will give you guys is the easiest way if you wanted to take down Flock would be file a class action lawsuit for breach of contract, because it explicitly states in every single contract that you own your data. The problem is nobody can give an example of us selling the data. Flock's private customers can access the law enforcement data. We've already discussed that, right? Lowe's, for example, can only access their cameras. Home Depot can only access their cameras. Target can only access their cameras. I have a camera in front of my house. I can only access that one camera. So, next slide, please. Fox LPRs use facial recognition, never have, never will, and then it collects private information. Our system is not connected to any kind of third-party database. We do not know who is in the car. We don't know who's registered to. We don't know if they have an expired registration. We don't know if they, whatever that may be. All we know is that this blue car with license plate ABC 123 passed by that camera. The investigative work by the detectives and law enforcement is what then they go do to start to work on their case. Next slide, please. And these are some recent court cases challenging license plate readers, and the Schmidt versus City of Norfolk is the last one, right? And so all of these courts affirm that it does not violate the Fourth Amendment, and that it simply takes a photo of a point in time. Again, your data can never be sold. It can never be used for any kind of taxing, speed enforcement, insurance gaps, or anything like that, right? Besides that, that is all I have for you guys today. I'll open any questions.
I'll recognize Gary, if it's all right with the body, since we've heard it. Jeremiah, we probably have questions tonight regarding the resolution. So if it's okay with the body, we can hear the resolution, ask questions since they're present. Is that all right with everybody? Numbers, please.
Well, Alex, thanks for coming out tonight. We spoke the other day for quite a long time.
Yes, sir.
So, this resolution, 12, I'm sorry. This resolution is not about whether or not this works. The Sheriff's Department does, we gave this tool to them when they came and asked for it 2 years ago. And that's what it was, as a tool. Since then, we've had a lot of issues come up, a lot of things, and it's tied in with AI now, right?
No, sir.
You guys are not using AI with it at all?
Just the same AI that's been there for the past 5-6 years since I've been in these states here.
Yep. The problem we're looking at is the future. With AI, any technology that can come around. So that's why we're looking at trying to put some kind of bumpers on this so we have guardrails that in the future, whatever coming down the road, 10 years ago, we would have never thought we'd be able to do what we do with AI. And look at where we're at today. So basically what this resolution is doing is asking for the state, for you guys to hold off before you renew it, until the state comes out and puts some guardrails in place for it, or we can do it locally, which we can't do this locally in 30 days. So that's all this resolution is asking for, is you guys to stop and look at what we've got, look at what we're using in technology, and where are we going to be at in 5 years. It's not about today. This is an awesome tool for the Sheriff's Department. But where's it going to be in 5 years? Where are we going to be at that point with these types of things we don't have guardrails put up now? So all it's asking is you to give time for the state to look at this, determine what they're going to do at the state level for guardrails, and then you come back and at the state, they outlawed speed cameras. So those went away. They did not outlaw tag readers. They're still there. But that's now is coming up at the state level. We'll be dealing with it in Nashville coming up this next year. In fact, it'll be discussions here in the fall. This contract comes up. It's on automatic renewal. It comes up in January 27th, right around the corner. So this gives this commission time to be able to look at what the state's going to do for guardrails. And if they're not doing anything, it's going to be then the county needs to look at guardrails. Read on the contract, there are problems that needed to be fixed. One of the problems in our current contract, when it states the terms and agreements, it says right in the contract that you agree with whatever terms and agreements are on their website. Everything needs to be spelled out in the next contract, all the way down to the maintenance, replacement, everything. That's what was missing out of this contract. Now granted, we bought it, we came in, I support the Sheriff's Department fully. No one could ever question that. We just need to make sure this technology doesn't get out of hand, and that's all this resolution is asking. Make sure that it does not get out of hand. We have to think about that in the future. The citizens of Sullivan County have expressed that they're concerned about these cameras.
So we put the guardrails in place, then there's nothing for them to be worried about. I think 30 days of data is too long. I think 7 days, if they're going to be doing something, they probably already know about it, can take care of it in 7 days. The company has come a long ways from originally when they did it. Because now they are taking, you guys are accepting contracts for 7 days now, right?
So all new law enforcement agencies are going to be defaulted to 7 days, and they must get approval from their body to extend that out, 100%.
And another thing, any kind of technology like this should never be automatically reoccurring. It needs to come back in front of this body every single time it's up on the 2-year stint. It needs to come back here for the commission to look at it, review it, and look and see where it's at in that for the technology. Some of the amazing stuff they're doing is with the drones. We need to be doing business with them with the drones. Research what they were doing on that. They've got the best products out there, but everything needs guardrails. And I'll be bringing some other information with us next week. Our Sheriff's Department does have in place very tight controls and have since day one. So we got 10 cameras in Sullivan County. You guys will have to decide one day if that's too many, not enough, or whatever it may be. But guardrails need to be placed on this and placed on it today. So next week when you come, that'll give you some time to absorb it. I would suggest you go to their website, look at what they have on there for technology. It's an amazing company. I have no problem with the technology, but it does need guardrails put in place. And there may be some people that do not want it at all. I prefer not to live in a police state where everything's done, even though it does solve crimes. The one question you really ever have to ask yourself, how much liberty are you going to give up for security? Because in the end, you lose both. You give up your liberty for security. In the end, you'll end up losing both. So read up on it. We'll get you some more information. And next week we'll look at it. Hopefully we can decide what we want to do as a commission. I did not want to walk out of here at the end of this month without addressing this. I sponsored the original resolution coming in. I want to make sure that it's in place, it's proper, and that we're taking care of our citizens, especially something that they're looking at, and we'll be hearing from them about their liberty and Fourth Amendment. You may not violate that, but people do not want to be. We're not in New York. There's not a street you can walk down in New York that you're not being filmed. Everything, video. It may make New York safer, but I don't want to live in a police state where there's a camera on every corner. So,
I've got Attorney Street want to speak.
Yes, I was asked by Commissioner Carr, or talked to Commissioner Carr today, and I asked the purchasing agent what she had as far as signatures on this contract, and she sent me over what she had, and it was actually signed August the 16th, which is 3 days from now. So you mentioned that we had until January for the renewal. The contract with Flock, the order form anyway, was actually signed August 16th, 3 days. So we need to, I wanted to say that it's possible that the renewal is actually coming up today. Now, I know there's language in here that says it starts when the cameras start live, but I wanted you to be aware that this agreement with Flock, I'm looking at it, was signed August 16th, 2024, which is 3 days from now. Would be the 2-year anniversary. So we need to, just to be safe, that we don't owe another year if we decide to cancel it, we need to at least put Flock on notice that it's possible we may not be renewing the contract.
and that when you look at the contract, it does say once the cameras are up and going, it's when it actually a renewal time. And for us, it is in January, but what we have on record.
I recognize Mr. Iverson.
Thank you for coming. Yes, just got a couple of questions for you. So what is the date that they were installed and validated?
I don't have the exact date, but the January date probably sounds accurate. The state of Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going off of memory here, but all 10 of those locations were permitted by the state of Tennessee to be in their right-of-way. Typically, the state of Tennessee takes about 4 to 6 months to issue a permit because there are certain guidelines around policy, retention, audibility, distance from road, et cetera, et cetera. So that sounds very accurate that the contract was signed in August and that the cameras were installed around the January timeframe.
You can get us a date?
Yeah.
Can you? Please.
I could probably get you a date, if I have my laptop with me, but I can get you a date.
All right, please, because that's pretty vital, because I agree, I read the contract as well, and I think it says that the 24 month starts after they're installed and validated.
It does, yes, sir.
The other thing that I was going to ask, have your terms and conditions or the terms of service on your website changed since August of 2024?
Yes.
Okay, so the contract we signed refers to a set of rules that have changed.
Correct. They haven't really changed. All they did is deleted duplicate information, right?
That sounds like change.
Yep.
Okay,
So we didn't change the terms, we just basically deleted the 2 parts of the contract that were talking about the same thing.
Okay. So this term automatically renews, if we don't give you a 30-day notice of non-renewal, correct?
You can give us a 30-day notice of non-renewal as well.
I'm a huge fan of everything that our sheriff's office has done with flock cameras. I mean, finding missing people, finding several alerts. That was what the whole sales point was, the silver alerts, amber alerts, finding stolen vehicles, and those things are great. And I trust our guys and I love it. The thing that I am concerned with is that the contract, in my mind, should have had that, all of those terms of service, all of the things that we're supposed to do, all the rules and regulations, actually as a part of the contract. The contract was more of a sales pitch. I mean, it had a lot of different things on there as far as what services are there, but I think it needs to contain those rules and regulations inside the actual contract that's signed, not just as a website that you can look, that you can actually change without us knowing that you're changing. So that's a concern to me. I think the automatic renewal, if we don't give a 30-day notice of renewal, is something that Commissioner Stidham hopefully will look at that as well, because it's not just telling you that we're looking at it or we're thinking about it, is if we're actually going to do this, we have to give us notice of non-renewal. It's not just give you, hey, we're looking at this. So I like the fact of going to 7 days. I'm thinking if we keep going forward, I think we need to update, renew our contract and start over versus saying we're going to continue what we've got, because the 7-day part is, I think it needs to be there versus a 30-day. And I think that the rules and terms and conditions and things that were part of the document that was signed, by saying it's go to this website, needs to be actually on the contract that's signed. But thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. Did you say that flock cameras don't require, that they require warrants?
No.
They don't require warrants? Did you say that flock cameras don't use AI?
Correct, they do not use generative AI, they use machine learning.
They don't use AI?
Correct. There's a difference between machine learning and generative AI. Would you like me to explain?
No, but I just have a web page here from your company. Right here it says leveraging AI-powered technology to keep employees safe, and then it goes on to talk about harnessing flock safety's AI-powered technology to enhance employee safety. So, does your system log, track, and store the movements of law-abiding citizens in Sullivan County?
Log, track, and store the movements. What
Yes.
do you mean by the movements?
You know, their car, where they're going.
We do not know where people are going now.
But you do log where, you know, their car, the make and model of their vehicle, whether it's got like a bike rack, dents on it, that sort of thing.
As a vehicle passes a camera, we do log those information.
Yeah. If a resident wants to opt out of that, can they, you know, while they're going to church or work or the grocery store, can they say, I don't want to be part of that surveillance dragnet? Can they opt out of it? There's no opt out. Can you guarantee that no federal agency, out-of-state entity, or, you know, third-party partner can access that sort of data without explicit approval?
Yes.
So there's no backdoor for federal agencies?
No.
Do you really expect us to believe that? How many times has Flock been used illegally or inappropriately?
I can't answer that question for you.
The answer is between 50 and 100 times. How many people have been arrested for using Flock illegally?
Can't answer that for you.
The answer is at least 28. Who foots the bill for Flock? How much is it per year for Sullivan County?
What do you guys say? What is your contract for?
It's 33,000.
33,000. Could you explain convoy analysis?
Convoy analysis, please elaborate.
Flock has a program called convoy analysis. They track vehicles that are close to one another.
Give you a great example. Yeah, there was a ATM servicer, ATM service technician in, I believe, Jefferson, Kentucky, who was robbed at gunpoint by an individual, and all the money was taken. So they were able to put that tag of the service driver's van to see who was following them the past previous days to identify that individual.
Do you not think it's a privacy concern to, track, who's driving with each other?
On a public road?
It's a private company.
Accessing your data?
Yes.
Right, we do not access your data. Only law enforcement can access your data.
How do you get the data then if you don't access it?
It goes to Amazon W Cloud or Amazon AWS Cloud, and law enforcement accesses it.
Your CEO recently, 3 weeks ago, he gave a TED Talk called "Can a Camera on Every Corner Make Us Safer?" Do you agree with that statement? Do you think a camera on every corner will make Americans safer?
I'm not here to speak for a CEO.
Okay. I kind of thought that's why you were here. It is the 250th anniversary of our country's founding. One of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, once famously said that those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And I actually have a problem with this resolution because I think it needs to be amended. It's too open-ended. It says that we shall not renew it until such concerns have been addressed, as laid out by Gary Stidham and written in the resolution. And I have some concerns with what Gary and what Mark are talking about. I don't think we need to renew this at all. I don't think the people of Sullivan County want this. I believe that Flock right now is one of the most hated companies in America. They are one of the most corrupt companies in America. And quite frankly, sir, I don't think we can make America great again without hanging your CEO publicly for treason. Your company is an enemy of the American people.
We're not going to threaten violence to anybody. I'll allow a lot. Everybody knows that. I'll allow a lot. But I won't allow any kind of threats of violence.
I stand by what I said.
And you have that right. Commissioner Hopper.
Just a quick question for Commissioner Stedham. You mentioned the state of Tennessee is going to have some input into this regarding guidelines and guardrails and so forth. When did that potentially going to, do you have any idea if it's on the docket, if it's a proposed discussion?
There are legislators that are already crafting legislation for this year. One that we know of is to outlaw them across the state, not to allow them in the state of Tennessee. Several others are looking at putting up guardrails. So we'll see when we get there in January what actually comes out of committee once they're submitted, and go from there. So we know that something will happen at the state level. This is something that's coming out of every area that Tennessee is concerned about. We do know something will come out of Nashville this next spring.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Everett.
You made a statement a while ago, and I don't know if I heard it correctly, but are these only allowed on state highways?
No, sir. They are allowed on city or county roads. They're allowed on city or county roads as well. But if I'm not mistaken, all of Sullivan counties are on state right-of-ways.
Okay, is that, in the sheriff's department, validate that statement? Are they only on
Yes.
state highways?
Yes.
So that's that little red light we see on state highways going by?
At the nighttime? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I believe, and Gary, you can correct me on this, I believe Congressman Burchett out of Knoxville is filing a federal law concerning this same issue that we're looking at counties and state, so.
Yes, there are several we'll be bringing up deals this year soon on it. Purchase will be coming up pretty soon. I can get that information and bring it back to you next Thursday.
Commissioner Edgar.
Thank you, Chairman. You mentioned, are there other companies other than Flock doing this?
Yes, sir.
And I think, I remember that night we voted for it. Maybe I'm a hypocrite, voted yes, and I believe I turned around to my cohorts behind here and said, well, there goes our civil liberties. But technology changes, and I'm still trying to figure out, I've read a lot of what Commissioner Carr and all the ways people have abused flock cameras, Again, I kind of see it a little bit like the data centers, too much is getting lumped in to what can happen. One time we didn't have a fingerprint database, and now you can search fingerprints all over the country and the world. We didn't have DNA analysis, now we have DNA analysis. Yes, certain states do have license plate readers. I'm sitting here trying to decide if I'm gonna pay $100 to the state of Virginia since I don't live in there. And so, I'm trying to figure out, really, is this, if it's a tool that the sheriff is gonna, lay his department on it to use it, then it's kind of a contract situation. There's a camera on everybody's house, we all have cameras on there. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. I think the biggest issue that I had coming into all this, and really reading all those stories about police people tracking they're stalking their exes and doing all this stuff, was what is the protocol to be able to get that information, and hearing from Captain Lane and from you a little bit. I had a long conversation with a retired chief of police today about this. Because, there are certain safeguards that they, once a warrant is issued and stuff, they can search your internet history. So, Joe, make sure you delete everything. And, so if we take away flock cameras, that really doesn't going to do a whole lot. But yet, then, I saw one the other day on, there's one right in front of the flea market over there in front of Baker's and everything. And so it's like, all right. But then again, if I have a child abducted, the first thing I'm calling is the sheriff to find out where the camera is. So I'm going to be a hypocrite. I don't know. Technology is going to change. And reining in technology is very hard to do. I do think we probably have a very early contract. And so I have no qualms voting for someone of this resolution to say we've got to, if we're going to keep them, we're going to change the contract some way, somehow.
You could do that right now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You can file an amendment with Flock to do that.
But, and it's kind of one of these things, if you look on the internet and everybody's chopping them down, it's a tough one. We want a safe community, but we also want to safeguard our privacy, 100%. But then again, what privacy do we have? We kind of live a pretty public life. So it's that's going to be tough. But I do think we've got to have more safeguards. And that's what I'd probably rather hear more about, how our sheriff's office, how that information is dispersed. Because, there's got to be a grand jury for other things, and warrants, and hearing about certain things. I've ridden with City of Police in Bristol, they have computers in the cars. they see certain make or model for a car, and, you know, they type it in to see if that license plate matches. And one night it didn't, so we took a guy to jail. And it was, you know, so we're kind of having surveillance already. It's there, guys. And as a business owner, I'm not a flock and I don't know anything, but sometimes things get a little out of control just based on it. Doesn't mean I agree with it. It's just they're not. Flock's not the one telling the sheriff's office who to go get. They're just the system that the sheriff's office uses. You know, it's not this young man standing here that's sitting there like you know, Dr. Evil back there, looking at everything. But that's the way I understand it. So you better not be doing that.
Correct.
Yes. So you know, we'll keep working through this, Gary.
Commissioner Iverson, just want to ask a little bit more. You mentioned a couple of times. I mean, granted, I haven't read the entire contract 14 times over. I have read it. I've looked at it a little bit closer. But you said that you don't get the data that only our sheriff's office does, but on the website that's talking about that Flock has significant contractual rights to process the data, share and access the data as authorized through the network, through the Flock network, create anonymized data, use that anonymized data for machine learning development, and retain and use that qualifying data beyond the 30-day retention. So is that incorrect or is that correct?
As far as that we can use your data to train the machine learning?
That you're getting the data, because you said it's staying with us, but you're obviously getting the data to do those things.
Correct. The only thing that we can do is to use your data to train the model. So I'll give you a phenomenal example. When Cybertrucks were released, we had to feed the model over 500,000 images of Cybertrucks to be able to confidently machine learning to say, hey, that is a Cybertruck. That is the only way we're able to access your data, is to improve the model.
So if you're taking our data, putting it in your system, for your system to do the learning, could you not have a subpoena come to you and have to give that data up?
We don't own the data.
But you have the data. Once you have the data.
We are stewards of the data.
But if you have the data, that through Amazon's, whatever you talked about through Amazon, it still comes to your company for you to do the anonymized data, for you to actually generate that computer-generated things. At that point, you have that in your system and your company, correct?
I can't speak to that. I don't know the answer to that, sir.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else seek recognition? Commissioner Akers.
This won't be long. Here's the biggest flock camera there ever is. And if y'all don't know what's going on with these silly little devices right here, you have no privacy. You know? And that's why, I mean, whether we like it or not, I don't really like it, but it's kind of like flocks being beat up all over the country. Rightfully, probably in some places, but unrightfully in others. But here's all the data, you know? 100%. And it is scary what they do with these things. I've said in those meetings, and Apple has our data, Samsung, Android has our data. They know exactly everywhere we go. And yeah, they fight those warrants. Sometimes they have to give them up. You know? So it just, I don't know.
Commissioner Vanover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a balance we got to strike between safety and privacy. Like everything we do in this commission, we got to balance taxes with services. So we got to strike the right balance. But I want to ask Captain Lane one question. Just from 1 to 10, how important are these cameras to your department?
Everything's important in law enforcement. Our personnel is important. Our equipment's important. The things that we've asked for. On a scale of 1 to 10, I couldn't put it on a scale of 1 to 10 because what would happen if these folks with the silver alert? I can't put somebody's life and value and the safety of the citizens of Sullivan County on a scale of 1 to 10. It's a very beneficial tool for our agency. It's a very beneficial tool for our law enforcement in our area. I wouldn't want to put a scale on 1 to 10 on somebody's grandmother that's missing, that their child that got exploited at the store, that their family member that went missing. So I can't do that. I can say that it's a very important tool, it's a very useful tool, and we have seen positive results in the sheriff's office for the cases that we've used it on.
I think public safety would be compromised without them.
It could be. There could be cases where we wouldn't have found that a victim would have not had justice. In one case of locating the victim, we could have somebody's grandmother that came up missing and we never found her. I don't want to explain that to somebody, that I had a tool that I could use to find your grandmother and I can't do it now.
Well, hopefully we can strike that balance somewhere between the safety and the privacy. I mean, nobody wants to be surveilled, nobody wants to have their information shared with people that shouldn't be, but I know if my grandchild was abducted, and like Commissioner Akers said, I'd be the first one to see those cameras. So we just got to find the right balance. That's our job, so thank you.
Commissioner Iverson. Last question for you, I promise, I won't quit. Earlier you said we could actually change it from 30 days to 7 days now.
Snap of a finger.
Could we also change it to where it says the data belongs to Sullivan County, period?
Snap of a finger.
So it's not accessible at all through the flock systems and to advance all their careers and everything else?
100%.
That sounds like a good start. Thanks.
Anyone else seek recognition? Sir, I'm gonna give you the final word, and we're gonna close presentations, move on to their agenda. I'll give you the final word, sir.
The only thing that I may call out is when reading this resolution, oh gosh, I lost it. 1 second here. If you read this resolution, I'm going to read it out loud real quick. It says basically the Tennessee's General Assembly is expected to address public concerns regarding use of such cameras during the upcoming session, including retention data collected by such cameras shall not for longer than 30 days. I think it meant to say it shall not be stored for longer than 30 days, which is currently in place today for the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office and every agency across Tennessee. Data collected by such cameras shall not be sold, which currently is the law or the regulation that regulates the data. And all data collected by such cameras shall be stored on servers guaranteed by any vendor to be secure, which are Amazon AWS government servers. And lastly, I hope that nobody here ever resorts to the idea of violence, because it's despicable to be able to say that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, sir.
Without objection, the presentation portion of the agenda is closed. Recognize Commissioner Locke.
Just recess.
Would everyone like a 10-minute recess?
2 hours. You're going to hear for 2 hours.
All those in favor of a 10-minute recess, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 10-minute recess. We'll be back 10 minutes from now.
Oh, okay. All right. Absolutely. Yeah, no, you guys are done. I'll be here. It'll be on consent agenda. Hey, thank you for being here. Of course. You have never disrespected me. I knew you were going to. Yeah. I am not. I'm sorry. We were waiting on, where was the dinner? We were out. We were in Sullivan building. Oh,
Good. How are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah. Well.
He does. He's pretty good.
How did I forget the county I was born in? I know she
Yeah, I know.
Would you please bring this organization?
I know, I knew I saw it. Thank you, that's good. I'm so trusting everybody down the street. You guys are
If everybody start finding their way back to their seats, we'll call it back.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for that. We probably needed that. Our next order of business is public comment on non-agenda and agenda-related items. I still have the sign-up sheet. If anybody didn't get an opportunity to sign it, I still have it. Does anyone wish to sign it? not public comment, didn't get an opportunity to earlier. Before I recognize the first person, we'll read our rules of order for public comment pursuant to our local rules, Rule 4. We'll recess for 30 minutes for the purpose of public comment. Each speaker is requested to state their name and address for the clerk's electronic record. So this is not question answer. Clarifying questions may be permitted. No speaker can transfer or yield time to another speaker. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes uninterrupted and is asked to direct all comments to the chair of the body and not the members. At the end of the 3 minutes, I will let you know and ask that you make a final statement. We'd like to invite Louis Elias to the podium. If you will, introduce yourself and give us your address. You have 3 minutes uninterrupted, sir.
My name is Louis Elias. I live at 291 Cardin Hall Road, Bristol, Tennessee. I'm a retired detective at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Started in 1981, left in 2002. In those years, when I started, we bought our own guns. We shared cruisers. We didn't have bulletproof vests. We didn't have portable radios. When I became a detective, we were sending out bolos, and bolos is be on the lookout. You had 10, 12, 14 cruisers looking for license plates or descriptions of cars. If we had flock cameras, it would be a massive, great investigative tool. We worked hard in this county to protect the citizens. And I really believe that this is a tool that will protect the citizens. I know things are abused, and if people abuse the flock cameras, if people abuse the data, they need to be terminated, they need to be charged. And I believe that they need to be charged with a felony if they abuse this data. I am completely opposed to speed cameras. I'm completely opposed to red light cameras, because when they send you a ticket in the mail for a red light camera, violation of red light camera, or a speed camera, that, it was taken by a machine. Even though it's reviewed by a police officer, it's a misdemeanor that did not happen in the presence of a police officer. I've gotten several of those tickets in several different states. I refuse to pay them, and I won't pay them. Clearly on the ticket it says they can't ding your credit history, they can't ding your driver's license history, and they can't ding your insurance history. We have taken care of that situation. People pay those tickets because they're afraid. But again, these cameras are important for the sheriff, and I can't emphasize enough how great a tool they are. Today I've seen, I don't know how many presentations on different news networks about the flock cameras. And I've seen what happens. I've worked many cases where by luck we were able to find somebody, and I just think that this is something that the county commission needs to look into, and we need to put guardrails up. I acknowledge that. But no one should be able to abuse it. But again, you do not have a right of privacy out in the open. And driving is a privilege in this county, in this state, in this nation. It's not a right, it's a privilege. And the number of cameras that you are exposed to every day, my new Ring cameras have AI, and they can see you and they can identify you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Avery Paget, welcome. You'll introduce yourself and give your address for the clerk's electronic record.
Hello, my name is Avery Paget. I live at 1125 Goblin Falls Road. And I want to start off by saying that I appreciate and support this resolution. However, I don't think it goes nearly far enough in protecting our citizens against undue risk and privacy invasion. As you likely know, flock cameras are somewhat different from just a standard automatic plate reader or a closed circuit camera. Closed circuit cameras can only be accessed by the person who owns that camera, or business has to have a warrant or some sort of judicial to get access to it. So they can get access to that camera generally, but it does take extra steps. Flock is warrantless, much more invasive, much more processing on, does this car have bumper stickers? Does this car have damage? Keeping track of all that sort of stuff versus a standard ALPR as well. Now, beyond that, while those privacy concerns, they're somewhat addressed in this resolution, it doesn't cover a lot of other issues. Top of that list is security. While Flock's cloud database hasn't yet been breached in any form or fashion, he's talked about it being on Amazon Web Service. The cloud is someone else's computer. It is not any magical skybox that no one can get into, and Amazon Web Services itself has been breached many, many times over the years. We've all gotten the letter in the mail that says, your data has been leaked, or the spam calls from that data leak. So we all know it happens. The government's not immune, Flock is not immune. Beyond security, let's see. There's been a lot of cases of misidentification. When you look at a license plate, you have 2 versus 7, or can have dirt on it, and it can lead to high-tension situations where an innocent person is now suspected of murder, pulled over at gunpoint, stopped the highway up, and that can be a deadly situation. So it is very, very important that we don't allow that to happen. It's also been abused quite a bit. They talked about adding some guardrails. However, those have previous attempts have been circumvented, and it's always going to have room for abuse. So basically, the bottom line is, if the data exists, someone either in the system or out of the system will try to get access to it, will try to abuse it, and the only way to prevent that is to not create the data to start with. And so basically, freedom is scary, and you have to deal with it. That's the end of my speech.
Thank you very much for being with us. Jane Thomas.
We all know that data collected is data shared.
If I could get you to introduce yourself and your address, you're fine. You're fine.
Jane Thomas, 334 Roscommon Drive, Bristol, Tennessee. But we know that data gathered is data shared, and it gives me pause when I hear the phrase, it always starts for your safety, or this is for the children. We've heard that before. And we are living at a time that we're surveyed every place we go. I think we have enough surveillance, and I want to remind you, this is not dang China, and we don't want more surveillance. We know what people around this world are living under. Our individual privacy should be respected. And as he said, we should have privacy everywhere we go. He just said we have no privacy. And that's not the American way. And in this country, as morality decreases, legality always increases. And we are being lawed to death. And I'm amazed that that people are so open, and we've been programmed to do that with our phones, everything, every word we speak. So I don't know why we would open ourselves, because this is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. And we're headed down a very dangerous path to have our citizens surveyed, and I think it's one of the scariest things ever. And I think we must, as a nation, work for more morality and righteousness and promote those things. And I know this, you may think this is off subject, but our educational content and academic curriculums have got to be looked at, because we are opening our children to concepts that never they're violating their very spirits. So let's just do the right thing, whatever that may be. And I appreciate our sheriff's department and our law enforcement, but there has to be guardrails on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Leah Bolton, welcome. Introduce yourself and give us your address. Thank you.
Sorry.
I lost you behind the pillar there.
Sorry. I'm Leah Bolton, 745 Lake Point Drive in Piney Flats. The information collected by these cameras has been misused by police officers and others with access to track girlfriends, boyfriend, exes, spouses over 100 times. Flock cameras not only track license plates, they can also see the bumper stickers and other information such as decals and window markings. But if they can see bumper stickers and decals, my bet is they can see faces. They may not be tracking the faces publicly yet, but what effort does it take to throw that switch and start collecting facial recognition? And will we even know? The flock representative said no to questions regarding facial recognition, but our constitutional rights are disappearing one by one every day, and with his word salad that he used tonight, I frankly don't believe him. Nobody asked us if we wanted flock cameras near our business that we own in downtown Johnson City, yet they're all over the place, 290 of them at the last count. The Fourth Amendment protects us against unreasonable searches. Constitutional challenges against these cameras claim that continuous automated tracking of a vehicle's movements over time creates a pervasive digital footprint of private lives without a warrant. Whether the courts see it or not, it's a fact that these cameras have the ability to track vehicles of completely innocent people without due cause. We've all been a witness to word salad, deceit, and flat-out lies tonight from the representative of Flock, as he changed his wording several times in order to hide the truth. He was finally forced to admit to us that other people do have access to this information. It's not only kept here in Sullivan County, so our privacy is not private at all. When he's having to use evasive wording to cover his previous statements, he is not being honest with us. There simply aren't enough guardrails for these cameras to be put up for them to be allowed to collect private information on the vast majority of good, innocent, and privacy-loving people who live in this county. Please do not allow this invasion of our privacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Blakey Derrick, welcome.
Hello, Blakey Derrick, 642 Trevor Drive, Kingsport, Tennessee 37660. This time next month, I'll be sitting with a bunch of you guys. But I want to start by thanking Commissioner Stidham for bringing this resolution to not renew the contract. But I do agree that with many of the people that spoke tonight, it does not go far enough, and we should just not renew this contract with or without guardrails, because these cameras do serve as a constitutional violation of our Fourth Amendment and our Ninth Amendment of their enumerated rights. And I would just like to point out, if we want to talk about, oh, there are 40 court cases that say this is not a violation. Let's go back to some of the other rulings that our courts have held up in the past. Slavery, abortion, or what about that men could play in women's sports? Just because the court says that this does not violate our God-given rights does not mean that it's not in fact a violation of our God-given rights. So I'm going to start with a quote, and I'm quoting Ronald Reagan a lot, but he said that the most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." I think we can all agree that Sheriff Jeff Cassidy and our Sullivan County Police Department are second to none. They are quality, constitutional Christian conservatives, and they serve our county absolutely amazing. I don't worry about that. I don't worry about them. I don't worry about the 1 year from now. I don't even truly worry about the 5 years from now. But what I'm thinking about is when I'm married one day and I have kids and my kids are 30 or 40 years old and they're living in Sullivan County, what will the surveillance state look like then? And I know we've had a lot of talk today about our phones or cameras we put on our houses. Well, that's the difference. That is the private citizen opting into something. It is a big difference to have the government put a camera up that you have no say over that can then track your movements on where you're going or where you've been. And with that, added pressure of AI, what will AI look like in 5 years, that maybe does make me scared about the next 5 years with FLOC. To quote Ronald Reagan again, I told you there's a theme, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free. While we as the Sullivan County Commission can't control where America goes or where the rest of the state goes, we can control where our county goes. And I hope that we will put in more than just guardrails, but a true safeguard to guard Sullivan County constituents for generations to come against constitutional breaches. And lastly, I think I'm just going to give a quote by Congressman Tim Burchett. He tweeted this out, and I think it sums everything up pretty well. If law enforcement wants to follow all of us, they can get a daggone warrant. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else seek recognition from the public? Seeing none without objection, the public comment portion of the agenda is closed. Our next order of business, review of resolutions. Under old business, recognize Commissioner Stidham on item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to roll this to September, and the new sponsor of it will be Commissioner Joe Carr.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Stidham. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Crosswhite under old business, item number 2.
Thank you, Chairman. This resolution is to give $100,000 from our occupancy tax, in other words, a hotel motel tax, to fund necessary repairs for our county-owned historical structures. One thing, I've probably mentioned this before, the comptroller, Grace Power, has agreed that we can spend this money on these buildings. We have the oldest concentrated pre-Civil War buildings in the whole state of Tennessee. We've got to take care of them. This will not impact tax. This is coming out of the hotel motel tax. I've got Mr. Steve Wilson coming next week to present what all needs to be done to keep these structures safe and where people can visit them. So far, we've spent about $33,000 on them. $33,000 is all we've spent. They have a budget of $20,000 a year, and that just covers the electric, nothing, no repairs. And thanks to Commissioner Darlene, she found me an article back in 2011, and this was on the National, it is on the National Register. And one other thing that we didn't know is the gates at the Dairy Inn, they were in the Smithsonian in Washington. There's a history, long history, but they are ours. In 2002, we accepted the ownership. The Sullivan County Historical Preservation is dedicated to the day management, and there's a 25-year maintenance on that. This has gone on. We've done resolution after resolution, but it boils down, we own these buildings, people, and we need to take care of them. And we need to take this money and fix them, and don't let them fall down. So I will be bringing this up to vote next week, and I appreciate it. The budget committee's already approved it, so I appreciate helping these buildings keep going. Sullivan County, looking good, so thank you.
You've heard the explanation on item number 2, and the floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Stidham.
Commissioner Crosswhite, anyone voting in affirmative be added to?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hopper.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor of this. My wife is very much involved with the Bristol Historical Association, which is an organization that's worked diligently to retain and maintain facilities and buildings in our community of Bristol. So I think this is a necessary expenditure to keep our heritage. Thank you.
Anyone else seek recognition on item number 2? Thank you, Commissioner Croswell.
Thank you.
Without objection, recognize Commissioner Harvey on item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution provides a one-time $50,000 contribution to Second Harvest Food Bank to support the Kids Backpack Program for Sullivan County students during the 2026-2027 school year. These funds will go specifically to feed our children in Sullivan County who suffer from chronic hunger. There are more than 25,000 citizens in Sullivan County who suffer from food insecurity. More than 6,500 of those people are our local school children here in Sullivan County. Children whom teachers have identified as food insecure. These backpacks, which hundreds of volunteers prepare every week at Second Harvest, go home with food insecure children every weekend throughout the entire school year. And I want to thank everyone in this commission who I know personally contribute to the many needs and hardships which exist in our community. We do this through our churches, civic organizations, and our personal charitable contributions. As commissioners, however, we also have the privilege of using our values and principles to make decisions which impact the lives and lessen the hardships of Sullivan County citizens every single day. This resolution impacts thousands of Sullivan County citizens, both directly and indirectly. That is, of course, many Sullivan County teachers who understand that children who are not coming to school hungry perform much better in the classroom. It is also important to understand the significance of the program expense ratio when evaluating a not-for-profit organization. The program expense ratio measures exactly what portion of the budget is used to provide direct services compared to what is spent on overhead such as fundraising, administration, and management. The percentage of funds that go directly to not-for-profit services and programs, which is 85% or higher, is identified as outstanding or excellent. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northeast Tennessee allocates approximately 95% of their total expenses to their core mission and services, thereby earning them an excellent, highly efficient performance rating. Fortunately, Second Harvest Food Bank is blessed with thousands of volunteers throughout this region who passionately desire to help feed those in our community who are suffering from food insecurity. These volunteer services, along with 40 years of integrity and well-managed operations, contribute significantly to the excellent efficiency with which Second Harvest Food Bank of Northeast Tennessee operates. Thank you, and I would appreciate your vote next week to fund the Kids Backpack Program for Sullivan County children during the 2026-27 school year.
You've heard the explanation on item number 3. The floor is open for discussion. Anyone seek recognition? Commissioner Lott? No. Pardon me. No one seek recognition on item number 3? Seeing none, without objection, that brings us to the end of our whole business calendar. Recognize Commissioner Lott on item number 4.
This resolution is to transfer deal of property formerly known as 10th Star School baseball field to Sullivan West Volunteer Fire Department. What they're wanting to do, I've talked to Chief Drew Deakins, they're wanting to put a substation out there on this property. It's not been utilized for anything else other than ball fields. It is being currently used each and every year for baseball. They are going to renew that contract with the teams that are playing with the kids. They're going to continue to keep the fields up along with putting a post steel metal building there. They're going to put a truck there. The reason being, that's probably a good 10 miles from Sullivan West Station now, currently. And if they could get a truck there and get it in operation, it will cut down on their ISO rating for their homeowners. And it will save that area quite a bit of money overall. So anything helps and has to be put on consent.
You've heard the explanation on item number 4. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves consent calendar on item number 4. Recognize Commissioner Iverson.
This is a great thing. That's like to be as a co-sponsor in my zone.
Everybody refer to it.
Anyone else seek recognition? Sponsor moves consent on item number 4.
They save their money, it's no money from the general fund. So I think that is awesome that we've got a volunteer department that's been able to keep and save money and not spend it until it's needed. And this is definitely a need. It's not a want, it's a need. So I wanted to point that out. They're going to use an older truck to put there. Their new truck's coming in. So it's a replacement apparatus. Thanks.
Anyone object to item number 4 being placed on consent calendar? Without objection, item number 4 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Carr on item number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution just supporting the submission of Sullivan County's Opportunity Zones 2.0. They're up for consideration, so this will go before the governor. We have Michael here with Networks. If you guys have any questions, this has been a partnership between Networks, City of Kingsport, City of Bristol. You've got the list there of census tracts. Very excited because one of these is in Lynn Garden, which would be huge for my district. No money involved, so I'd like to ask you guys to put this on consent.
Heard the explanation on item number 5. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 5. Is there any objection to item number 5 being placed on consent calendar? Without objection, item number 5 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner King on item number 6.
Thank you, Chairman. This resolution regarding certain properties to be excluded from the county bidding at delinquent tax sales. There were 4 properties that were we looked at, and there's some problems with it, some liabilities that if we go ahead and bid them in, we'll be facing some liabilities with these properties. So the recommendation for Sullivan County to refrain from bidding on these properties offered for sale at the delinquent tax sale. So I think at a later time, maybe some of these can be brought back. I looked at one of them in particular, and it's a small piece of property. It's an old road bed, is what it is. The people have died. There's no heirs to it, and there's also 2 people that's got a right of way on that road. So we've got a problem if somebody buys it and then says you can't use this road, then we've got a problem. So that's the type of stuff that we're looking at. So we were saying not to bid on this at the delinquent tax sale, just let we work through these problems.
You've heard the explanation on item number 6. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Jones.
Just to follow up with the discussion we heard from our attorney on these properties, they have received letters, some of these from the city, saying that they would, there's action, and whoever buys them is going, and they recommended that the county not bid on these particular properties also. So that was one of the reasons that the committee brought this resolution in. Thank you.
Yeah, we can put that on consent. There's no money changing.
Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 6. Is there any objection? Item number 6 being placed on consent calendar.
Thank you.
Without objection, item number 6 placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Crosswhite on item number 7.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a grant. It looks like it's double, but it's really not. This grant, if we got it, would be strictly to do maintenance and repairs on the very end. The $100,000 I was requesting is for all the historical buildings. Again, we don't know if we're getting this grant, so I just need for you right now to get approval to go ahead and apply for it. There's no matching funds, so we would have a year to use it, so I'd like to just put this on consent.
You've heard the explanation on item number 7. Floor is open for discussion on item number 7. Sponsor moves consent calendar. Is there any objection to item number 7 being placed on consent calendar? Without objection, item number 7 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Crosswhite without objection on item number 8.
Thank you, Chairman. This resolution is to purchase, going to a purchase agreement for 60 months lease agreement for copiers for the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department. I'm sorry, David.
He's already got his button pushed.
The same copiers we had 5 years before. So these are about 8 to 9 years old. As you guys know, technology changes. These things are obsolete. The security on them is not like they used to be. So we do definitely need them. We're replacing the same 16 we have with 16 new machines. And then part of the contract, they're going to go ahead and give us 2 more to go in our heavily used areas, which is booking and medical. I know booking has had to take printers from other places just to keep moving going forward. This is definitely needed. It is a $250 increase per month, but that's very small in the scale of 8 years of a machine that we've had so far.
Recognize Commissioner Eckert.
I mean, here we go again, sheriff's office getting everything they want.
Exactly.
You know, you know how I feel about these. But, I mean, can you guarantee us that, you know, what you print on them is secure? Is it going to the AWS cloud or anything?
We are going to try our best.
Because technology is changing. I mean, does it have cameras on them or anything?
I can't answer that, you know, I'll have to go back.
I mean, it's taking pictures of stuff now.
It is, and I don't know where it's going. We'll have to look into that.
I'm giving you that disapproving uncle look. Commissioner Iverson.
I do have one question for you, Michael.
Yes.
48 months ago, you entered a contract. They're terrible now. You gotta get rid of them. You gotta get something different. Why would you do a 60-month contract when you know that 48 was bad?
No, so what I'm saying is, so before I started here, Frank had done, I think, a 60-month with these same copiers. Once I started here, we did 48 more months with these same copiers.
So this is 9 years that's been done?
Yes, those have been under contract for 9 years. We decided to save money by just keeping the ones we had instead of doing a new printers throughout the whole agency, so it's kind of needed at this point.
Well, that's fine. I was just saying, if they've worn out in 4 years.
Oh, no.
Okay.
These are 8, 9-year-old machines. I mean, you can answer to them.
Great. Thanks. Commissioner Cole.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have to turn the one in booking in, or can we keep it? Because I'd like to take it out back in like office space.
Destroy it. No, he's got to experience it himself. They're really old and they are struggling. And booking has struggled a lot. They do probably some of our most other than jail medical. And you guys are, from my understanding, they've had to bring other desktop printers in, other things just to keep booking going. So this is much needed. And in my opinion, getting 16 brand new machines is worth it.
Recognize Commissioner King.
Thank you. Are these copies going in the new jail or are they going in the old jail?
So there'll be some going in the new jail. Obviously, the booking area is moved, so all the booking copiers will go in there. So they'll be transferred to wherever they were in the old jail, wherever that division is, booking, jail medical, into the new jail, into those same spots.
Have we got any new inmates in the new jail?
That'd be a good question for Cole.
That'd be a good question that's not related to copiers at the moment, sir.
Well, I had him up there.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I do finances. I don't move inmates.
You finance it?
I understand. I probably wouldn't be the best at moving inmate.
Thank you. Anyone else seek recognition on item number 8? Commissioner Crosswhite?
I am requesting waiver of rules on this, please.
Can we do consent?
Well,
Any new money?
it's new money, it's 300 and something.
We have that within our budget to cover that.
It's not
We're not
new money.
asking for any new funds. No, it's within our
Well,
budget.
let's go for consent then.
So you move consent calendar for item number 8. Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 8. Is there objection to item number 8 being placed on consent calendar? Without objection, item number 8 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Cole on item number 9. Oh, that is right. That is right, excuse me. Recognize Commissioner Carr on item number 10. Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a resolution for Sullivan County Sheriff's Department to apply for up to a $1.1 million grant through the Department of Justice to fund new technology. It's part of a program called Bridging Immigration-Related Deficits Experienced Nationwide, otherwise known as Biden. I thought that was pretty good. So I'd like to ask for consent on this since there's no matching money. We're not sure if we'll get it or not, but this just authorizes them to apply for it.
You've heard the explanation on item number 10. The floor is open for discussion. The sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 10. Is there any objection? Without objection, item number 10 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Vanover on item number 11.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 11 is a resolution approving accepting of a $4,500 grant to create a reset room to aid in positive mental health and stress reduction for participants of court proceedings. This is really a room for children when they have to go into a courtroom situation for them to stay while they're waiting on the courts to bring in their case. The judges didn't like seeing the children out in the audience while they're waiting on a case, and it was pretty stressful to them, so they're going to make a room that's going to be filled with things that are good for children to calm them a little bit before and while they're waiting on the trial. So it's no money, it's a grant, and I'd like to actually put this on, just move this to next week's calendar where Commissioner Ward can bring it to a vote. It's been something that's pretty near and dear to his heart, so I'd like for him to be able to bring this to a vote next week.
You've heard the explanation on item number 11. The floor is open for discussion. Recognize Commissioner Hopper.
Will this include some sort of supervisor to be with these children at that time?
Yes, the judges have got an aide that they're going to allow to be in that room with the children during this time.
Is this included in this fee or in this cost, or is that
There's no charge, it's a volunteer.
Volunteer.
But they've got to be in the room with them, and the judges will be here next week to explain more about it too, but it's a volunteer, they're going to have to be there with the children.
Anyone else? Sponsor moves item number 11 to next week's regularly scheduled commission meeting. Without objection, Commissioner Tideman, the discussion we had on item 12 previously sufficed enough. Do you wish to be recognized once more?
I wish to be recognized.
Commissioner Tideman, on item number 12.
I will be brief. On your desk, you should have an email from the CEO of Flock. That was sent to Michael Kennedy. I also received one from him. Spent a lot of time on the phone with him the last few days. This is what I'm going to leave you with to think about. For the Sheriff's Department, this is about cameras. This is about a tool. For Flock, this is about being able to continue business in Tennessee, because Tennessee has been known through history to be a very rebellious and safeguards our Constitution. So here's what I want you to think about. They sent someone here tonight for a $33,000 contract for a company that's worth $7.5 billion. This contract means nothing to them. This whole thing comes down to one thing. Are we going to allow the citizens of Sullivan County to continue to be track pictures done? And he sat there and contradicted himself when he was asked, does the camera do anything other than read the license plates? He kept saying it's just a reader, but it gives a description of the car, dents in the car, bumpers, everything. This is not about that. This is about keeping our what we have here in East Tennessee doing it. I don't want to take a tool away from the Sheriff's Department, but this thing can get out of hand very quickly. So I waited till the TV cameras were out of here and Rick Wagner was out of here to say this to you. You need to think about that. $7.5 billion. This contract means nothing to them other than if they lose us next week, that means the people are starting to uprise and come against them because they value their privacy more than they do a little bit of security. And again, if you give up your liberty for a little security, you're losing both of them in the end. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put this on waiver of rules next week.
Great. I'd like to recognize Commissioner Aker on item number 12.
I started not to do this, but 2 resolutions ago, I'm going to read you something about that 1.1 million grant. Whereas grant funds will be used to purchase technology, software, hardware, and digital forensic resources that assist law enforcement with extracting, unlocking, and analyzing data from mobile phones, computers, and other digital devices, as well as software that supports public safety technologies, including body-worn camera systems, digital evidence management software, and other investigative technologies that provide stronger digital evidence and improve public safety outcomes. I just try to be consistent. So we're kind of being hypocritical between 2 different things, in my opinion. I mean, I'm trying to figure out where the difference is. Either we're going to analyze everybody or we're not. So let's make up a decision, you know?
This is an easy one to answer, David. They have to have a warrant to do that to a phone. They have to have somebody who's been charged and have a warrant to do that. That's the difference on them.
Well, that's why I say with Captain Lane, I don't think they're just willy-nilly out here. While there have been issues, I've read all the same issues in Atlanta and all that. I'm just like, here we are, we're bashing one company on doing digital forensics, and then we just applied for a grant to unlock everybody's phones. I mean, I gotta say there's some hypocrisy here, you know? And so, that's why I say I'm not totally against flock cameras. I get the whole thing. I want the safeguards if we're gonna have them in there. And everyone keeps saying we have to have warrants, and that's what I brought up with when they go to BTS or CenturyLink or whoever, Comcast, for your internet. You got to have a warrant, and I have to trust that Captain Lane and the Sheriff's Department is not abusing that system, you know, because we literally just applied for a $1.1 million grant to unlock our phones. I just don't see a whole lot of difference there.
Well, the difference is they've got to have a warrant to do that. They're charging somebody criminally. We put these cameras out here. We have 10 now. We have a city in our region that literally has 288 right now. They're under digital surveillance, just basically almost like they are in New York. We are one signature away from the U.S. government coming in and saying, we're taking over all those cameras. It only take the president to sign one signature. That information is not safeguarded. It doesn't belong to Sullivan County anymore.
So do we know this new software we just voted on? Could be. That's what I'm saying. I agree with both of them. Do we pay really attention to what we do sometimes? That's all I'm saying.
I got you. But they got to have a warrant for that. The other ones, they don't.
Commissioner Carr. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Look, I think anybody, right?
No, I'm not going to hang David Aker. Look, the difference is I trust Sheriff Jeff Cassidy and his people completely. And if they were to ever do something wrong, you know, they would get that bad apple out of there, you know, like that. But I don't trust some, you know, godless corporation from Atlanta that wants to put, you know, 1 billion cameras all up like we're communist China. I don't trust them as far as you can shake a stick at it. And, you know, he can sit up there and say, oh, well, you know, the federal government, you know, they can't look at it without your approval. I don't buy that. The federal government's got back doors to everything. They're going to have back doors to that. So, you know, that's the difference. You know, if they're looking at someone's phone, they've got to get a warrant for that sort of thing. Those flock cameras, they don't need a warrant. And, you know, it might not even be, you know, someone at the sheriff's department going through there. I mean, just, you know, take the governor of Virginia, for instance, you know, the witch over there. She used to work for the CIA. Would you trust someone like that, you know, with everywhere you go? I wouldn't.
Recognize Commissioner Hopper.
Thank you. Just a quick question. We were discussing the flock camera and its billion-dollar assets and so forth. Are there other companies that may be a little smaller that would be confined just to Sullivan County that's not stored in the cloud and that sort of thing?
There are other camera companies out there, and that might be something we may want to look at for just the tag rating. But what you have to understand about the flock cameras, it's not just about the cameras you have here. That is a network of cameras through the whole country. And that's the biggest part of what they sell is you may have a car stolen here. Well, they can find it in North Carolina when the tag pops on one of those cameras. And that's what they basically sold us when they came in here on. So, and now with AI pushing, and their company is one of the biggest pushers for AI. Some of the stuff that they've got coming out on the drones, we'll probably be purchasing for our sheriff's department on that because those things are going to be something new. So it's just the way it is, the technology.
We have anyone else seek recognition? Item number 12. Commissioner Stidham, you going to roll this to next week's regularly scheduled calendar, sir?
Yes. Waiver rules.
Without objection, recognize Commissioner Crosswhite on item number 13.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a grant for evidence-based child home visiting programs. This is for childhood development and strengthening local families. They already have this in place right now. They're just calling it something else. It's for $523,000. They will be hiring new employees, and there is no matching funds. And this is going to help our kids. And being on the health council, our children need help. So this grant is very valuable for the health department. I'd like to put it on consent.
You've heard the explanation of item number 13. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves consent calendar on item number 13. Is there anyone object to item number 13 being placed on consent calendar? Anyone object? Without objection, item number 13 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Aker on item number 14.
Thank you. This has nothing to do with technology. It has everything to do with growth in this county. And as we heard from the presentation earlier, I would like to put it on waiver of rules. I know we've had a lot of consent, but this is a tax base. Waiver of rules for next week, so that way we can close out our commission, since we will have a new one coming in September. If anyone does have, I'm not going to open up Mr. Malinay for 24 tours, but there have been some tours already, ride around on the property to see it. But no, it's a great opportunity, another growth opportunity for our residents here, and I look forward to all your support. Thank you very much.
You've heard the explanation on item number 14. The floor is open for discussion. Does anyone seek recognition? Seeing none, sponsor rolls item number 14 to next week's regular scheduled commission meeting. Without objection, recognize Commissioner Archie Pierce on item number 15.
This is a resolution that will continue the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition funding. The resolution is to approve an allocation of $175,000 of available opiate abatement funds to the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition to help cover the nonprofit agency 2026-2027 operating budget. Whereas as of August the 6th, 2026, Sullivan County had available $420,453 total in opiate abatement funding. And whereas the Sullivan County Opiate Advisory Committee recommended allocating $175,000 of that total amount to the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition per the nonprofit agency's request to help it operate the fiscal year ending June 30, 2027. Whereas Judge Teresa Nelson, Judge Doug Vance took time from their busy docket to attend the advisory committee meeting to state their support for the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition, which they described as essential to ongoing programs in their court to send drug-related defendants to treatment rather than the county overcrowded jail, and imperative to efforts to establish a veterans court in Sullivan County. I'd like to put this on the consent calendar.
You've heard the explanation on item number 15. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves consent calendar on item number 15. Recognize Commissioner Glover.
Thank you, sir. Archie, who is the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition? Who is this?
That coalition was established about 6 years ago through the state of Tennessee's Attorney General's office, where the state of Tennessee Attorney General had the lawsuit against about 4 different drug companies, and Sullivan County at that time voted to participate in that program, and we are now receiving funds from that legal settlement, which will now continue for approximately 10 more years, I think, or something like that.
But it says Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition per nonprofit agency.
Oh, that?
Yeah, who is that?
That's a group here in Sullivan County that is working with the courts to
Who's on that board and who's over it?
over the Sullivan County Coalition.
Yes, I mean, it says Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition per the nonprofit agency. I mean, we're gonna give that kind of, I mean, I didn't know we had an anti-drug coalition.
Well, we've already participated in that program last year and contributed to the program. Let me see if contact person is Jeff Noah. The project director, Alice Caffey. Is that?
Okay, that's fine.
You know her?
No.
She is the project director.
Commissioner Crossline, if you had something you just wanted to add.
Just that this group has been, they've been organized for years now, and they go into the courts, they help these people get their, you gotta remember, these people don't have copies of their driver's license, they don't have copies of their birth certificates, it's just they don't exist. And this money, it's not costing the taxpayers anything, this is coming from the pharmaceutical companies. And we have spent many hours going over these applications, and I'm proud of the ones that we picked out to give these funds to. So I agree with Mr. Pierce that we need to put this on consent and get these people some money.
Commissioner Crawford.
Thank you, Chairman. It might be beneficial if we ask some of the drug coalition to be here next week to give us a brief description of what they actually do.
So is that an objection to the consent calendar?
No.
Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 15. Is there any objection to item number 15 being placed on the consent calendar? Without objection, item number 15 is placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Vanover on item number 16.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 16 is a resolution to approve allocation of $151,925 of available opioid abatement funds
to Sullivan County Recovery Restoration to help fund the nonprofit's continued service to county residents participating in its court-sanctioned programs for offenders seeking help in recovery. This is Judge Goodwin's program. He partners with Families Free. They've got the old jail up in Carter County where they put people they've identified as potential rehabilitators that can be saved and not have to go to jail. So it's a good program. Judge Goodwin's very proud of it and done a very good job. It keeps a lot of people out of our jail. So I'd like to move that to next week's calendar, and I'll be asking for consent.
You asked for consent calendar for this one?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. It's from the opioid abatement fund.
Yes. You've heard the explanation on item number 16. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 16. Recognize Commissioner Calvin.
Thank you, Chair. Also, the last one, but not least, it's an allocation from the same fund. And
Excuse me, Darlene, I was asking about item number 16. I thought you were seeking recognition on item number 16.
Oh, no.
I apologize to you. Is there any objection to item number 16 being placed on consent calendar? Without objection, item number 16 is placed on consent calendar.
I'm ready to go home.
Recognize Commissioner Calvin on item number 7.
Thank you, Chair. This last resolution is not the least, but it's the same application from the same fund. And we had $420,000 and $453 total from the lights that we received for this. And Family Freeze had asked for $170,000, but we only had $86,662 left of it. So we went ahead and we're going to give that to them. But they're getting a lease on a home. Is that near the highway department? It's almost 6 acres. Is that where the lease house is, George?
Yes, it's used to be a church.
Right.
Miss Tipton and I went up there today and talked to the owner, and they're ready to sign a lease. And they will do the renovations. This money will be well spent. It'll house at least 8 ladies with their children. It's sitting on 5 acres of land, so no neighborhood opposition. There's going to be room for just the kids to get out and play, and the ladies will be going for their therapy, for training. They have to get jobs. We've got daycares for them. This is one of the, I'm just thrilled that we're finally getting this in Bluntville for these 8 ladies.
Right. She has, I think, a house in Elizabethton and maybe one in Kingsport. Is that correct?
She has one in
And
Kingsport, Elizabethton, and apartments.
We're going to have here. But they house these women. It's going to be, like she said, for women. And they get them back on their feet. And they have to go through a program for a period of time. But anyway, it's from the same money. And I ask that we put this on consent.
You've heard the explanation on item number 17. The floor is open for discussion. Sponsor moves consent calendar for item number 17. Recognize Commissioner Iverson.
I'm going to ask because this is the last one of these that come today, but over the last couple of years, we've given millions of dollars out, this opioid money. And I'm sure a lot of it's been great, maybe all of it's been. Is there a way we can get a list of what because it seems like there's some of them that says this program's for 15 months, this is for 12 months, this is for 18 months. Are we looking at saving some of this money for that 18-month program to come back in and say, here's my second installment? Is it just in?
No, they're the ones that come in and say they can do this for so many months. They realize that when this money's gone, which it should be, still have funds coming in through 2033, I believe, but it won't be the amount we have now. But they understand that but most of them are applying for grants while they've still got this money. But I mean, they realize that when the money's gone, it's gone.
But you can get us a list. I just love to see what we've done with it.
I will be more than glad to get you a list.
Thank you.
Commissioner Calvin.
The committee lets them know this, when they fill out an application, it's for 1 year only. They have to come back each time that they get it. So it's been a year for Family Free, and so we're going to do that to let her lease his house.
Commissioner King.
So I misunderstood you. Are you gonna lease this or are you gonna buy it? This house?
She's leasing it.
Leasing it?
Yes, and she's responsible, the program is for all the maintenance and everything. The county has no liability with it or anything. We're just giving her some of that abatement money so she can get a house here. And it's gonna be for women, like she said, for 8. And,
Okay.
I mean, we won't have no,
Okay, all right, okay. That was the same house or same church building, the 6 acres we was talking about buying?
yes,
Okay, all right.
yes.
All right, but now we're leasing. Or she is. We're not, we're giving them the money. for
Family
leasing.
Free, Lisa Tipton
Yeah,
is
right.
leasing it, it is
Right.
not, and then we're.
Yeah, that's a whole lot better than buying. All right, thank you.
Sponsor presents a motion for consent calendar on item number 17. Is there any objection? Item number 17 being placed on consent calendar. Recognize Commissioner Glover.
Mr. Chairman, it's not on item 16, but there's a resolution that's not in this packet that Angela Taylor had talked to me about last week. And it's a resolution of the tax relief program for the veterans and the seniors. We always do that this time of year.
Let me put item number 17 in the book, and then we'll do that. Is there any objection to item number 17 being placed on consent calendar? The objection, item number 17 is placed on consent calendar. Commissioner Glover, go ahead.
Angela's been gone. Of course, we all know their husband Mark had some trouble there with his leg, and she was out of town. I was thinking she already had that turned in to John, but evidently not. We talked about this Tuesday morning in the Finance Committee. Sponsor, I'm going to sponsor it, and Darlene's a co-sponsor, and Hunter's a co-sponsor, and David Eckert, and we got Joyce Crossbite, a lot of, and Mr. Crawford, a lot of the folks is on there, but I just didn't want people to get surprised when it's in here next week.
Okay.
And I just wanted to let everybody know that it was already done, and like I said, she did send it to me, and I don't know what would impact tonight. So we'll talk about it next week.
Is this on his, it's under announcements?
Yeah, I was, be on there for that. We need this because the funding from the state for those on lower income and elderly and for veterans at 100% got put behind the governor's budget. So it's a very limited amount that the state is doing in that program. We funded vouchers and a lot of other stuff, but we left these people out this year in Nashville. And I'm glad Sullivan County is stepping up and doing what we're doing in Sullivan County to help them out. Thank you. Now, I do have something else on the announcement.
I'll bring us to the end. Under announcements, Commissioner Glover.
No, I'm done.
That brings us to the end of our resolution calendar. Our consent calendar currently consists of items 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 15, 16, and 17. That's our consent calendar. Our next order is announcements. I have one, and I hate to make this announcement, I really do, but there's some not going to be returning to the body. I've been asked to remind everyone that's not returning to this particular body to put the key to your desk in your top drawer. And that's all. And also, you start hearing all these drawers open when I said that. And also, swearing in will be Tuesday, September 1st at 1 p.m. in this room. And we'll also be getting our portrait shots made that day as well. So, look good. It's at 1 o'clock, Tuesday, September 1st. At 1 o'clock in this room. And Miss Katie said she had an announcement that she wished to make.